for the good and thank you for the bad. Thank you for creating evil and thank you for creating good and all things. So you created all things, and I always give the glory for the sins of the ones that stood up against perverted and the changing of your law. We're not under the law under this testament, not meaning that we're so we're not lawless. We're just, there's a difference between legal and lawful, and so he gives his bride the ability to discern, be able to discern the difference between by the law that you go by. So if you go by perverted law, then you'll be judged as a pervert. So I know what that says in his book, so in his scriptures, in the text, in his writing. So he spoke all this into existence. He is the word. So that's what I cling to, the word. So that is the word Hope-a-Dash. So thank you, Father, for Hope-a-Dash. Thank you for the spirit that reigns in the heart of the brides, the bride and the bridegroom. So the bridegroom will come redeem, redemption. Your word says look up. So for your redemption draweth nigh. So one day closer to being with you, being with Shiloh and my brothers and sisters that are in the narrow way, right? So don't sup. They'll sup at tables today with traditions that we're not supposed to celebrate, but they will. They will. Pornea, self-will. Not your agape, not Father, 2 John and 6, your will. Walk and follow in the commandments of Father. Father is your, he said, call no man Father. Call it not anything else. I don't care what else you lie about, but you can talk all the phileo you want to talk. But remember, he told Peter, I'm not asking you, Peter, if you phileo me, Peter, do you agape me? So agape is Father's will be done, because he creates and writes all things. So whatever's not written, he is the writer. You can edit your name out of the book of life. Your Shem is what it is. Your Shem, not your letters, your actions. Faith without works is dead. Only those who endure to the end will be saved. After he returns, and they'll be picked up what he already bought and paid and purchased from the foundation of the world, his bride, vessels of mercy. Everybody else is going to hell. Broad is the way that leads to the wide gate, that leads to the abyss. That's hell. Tartarus, Hades, whatever letter, yods you want to, cosmos, put in orally. Hell is knowledge. Hell is not below your feet. Hell is the word bis. That's knowledge. Hell is no knowledge. So people have no knowledge of the word, and that's their hell. So earth not below the feet. You don't live on an earth. Earth is the ruled. So people are ruled by their alien dialect. Their tongue is alien. There's no such thing as speaking in tongues. There's no such thing as aliens. So this is all phileo, like Chevy or Ford or Apple or iPhone. I don't want to hear it. You speak of earthly phileo and Hoka-Dash. He said, I am. That's the word. The word spoken into existence. The word became flesh. That is the Hamashiach. Hebrew for Messiah. The one they hung on a tree and hang anybody on crosses. That's nonsense. That's Satanism, paganism. Anybody who wears a cross or celebrates a cross is a Satanist, the adversary. These are Massé. Those that Massé eat the sun god, flesh of the sun god. Apollyon, Mithra, birthed in the middle of the winter. That is not the Hamashiach. You're a child. Why do you celebrate these things? You're not supposed to celebrate a single day. Don't you ever read about Ecclesiastes 7:1? What does it tell us there? See, you do things backwards. These people mourn death and celebrate birth. There's only 2 birth dates in all of Scripture. How studied are they? They're not studied at all. You have to prove your worthiness by your study, your knowledge. Your bis is hell, remember? No knowledge is hell. Well, hell, knowledge. Hell is no knowledge. You getting it yet? Are you in your own hell already? Are you spinning on a planet? There's no such thing as planets. Tell me in what text, where are you getting that word planet? Cosmos is an orderly arrangement of yods. You know what a yod is? What about jot or tittle? He said, don't add. That is poor. So, it's called dialectus glossa. You can just define it with the dictionary. There's no tongues. There's no such thing as speaking in tongues. You need an interpreter because you spoke in a different dialect. Glossa, vernacular, these people's language, you know. Espanol, no hablo español, but they turn that into pig Latin, swine talk, gibberish, imskray, gnowski the howski. So they'll burn, remember? No, they won't. They get their little easy Jesus, remember? Satan, Masse, sun god. Their tongue is twisted, forward, perverted. So they've added, remember, alien is a word. So is tongue, it's a word. You can't speak an alien dialectus. Their glossa is alien. So that's why they're spinning on a planet at 1,040 miles an hour. This is the earth that speaks about the masters. He says Lord, which is never written in the text. We just use it for dialectus glossa, tongue sake. You know, if you need to interpret, well, that's your own problem. Go get your own dictionary, lexicon. You must define. If you leave the definition, you leave the truth. Truth is word aletheia. So no such thing as speaking in tongues. You don't want to interrupt the sermon, right? Sermon. How about servant? How about the masse, huh? Whatever gathering you were holding in his shem, and because you spoke a different language. Shut up. He's speaking. Go get 2 or more and go give that guy an interpretation of your language, not imskray, hibbity scrabbity, hibbity hobbity, you know, oh, he said Jesus loves you and we're all going to heaven. Shut up. Be quiet. Bite your tongue. Yeah, these idiotos. They don't know what they're talking about. Never heard or seen it in their life. Never even took the time to study. You lead a horse to water, but you can make them drink. Why? You lead a horse to knowledge? No, a person. A horse already knows. You lead a person to knowledge, but you can't make them think for themselves, right? Self-will, portia, idolatria. The 2 thieves that'll steal your crown. So he said, I come quickly. Let no one take your crown. So can't turn a goat into a sheep. Get the whole barnyard Jesus going in here, or what's going on with that? Huh. Barnyard Jesus, did you hear that? Yeah, some pretty nice waves there, NASA. International Swim Station. You mean space? Space is not north and south. That's an idiot. If you think space is north and south, you need to get out of my space right now. Get the flock out of Dodge. Remember, I don't hang out with goats. Can't turn a goat into a sheep. Thanks for coming in, Sabrina. Sabrina's high. Higher than Canadian and up there, Saskatchewan. In a helicopter. Higher than a hippie in a... They're higher than a Canadian hippie in a helicopter in Saskatchewan. All right, thanks for coming in. So today is the Thanksgiving, and remember the Mayflower sign. I've already given you that. That's scriptural. So, all right. Why fry when you can get baked? Oil's the wrong kind of oil. Turkey, I don't do turkey. Stuff your face, blankets, be comfortable, and go to sleep. Take a dirt nap. Remember all that? Because there were pagans going after pole gods, Christians or Catholics or Egyptians that went after gods of Baphomet, Baal, gods of multiple genders on a pole. So, you know. Which king, you idiot? Christ is a pagan term never written in the text, so you speak like a religious idiot, like you don't know what you're talking about. So if you could be corrected there, Jake, break, you might want to put the brakes on there. Christ is a term never written in text, not in original text. No, that means anointed in oil. So you might remember the eye is the lamp of the body. It's supposed to be single. If it's dark, then the whole vessel, the whole lamp, your body's the vessel, the temple. He doesn't dwell in houses made by hand. So tell me about your Christ. Is your Christ born on a planet of the apes? Oh, you're going to call somebody retarded. You know, he said you better have a millstone and tied around your neck and to be cast into the sea than to hurt one hair on my children's head. You mean somebody with a mental disability? Yeah, remember the great millstone? I think your dialect is off. You can't be corrected. This is a jackass, not a. Told him to try to hit the brakes to see if he corrected, and then he's sitting there he told me, he uses the word Bible. There's no such thing as a Bible, child. Book. It was written on stone tablets and scrolls. Now it's on the hearts of the bride. You must have the wrong version. You're an idiot. Go away from me. You can get out of here now. You say anything else, I'll moderate you. I'm not supposed to sup with vipers or cast my pearls before swine you with your pig crap talk. Swine dung. Dum-dum-dum, freedom bell. Christ is Mass A, Christ Mass, that's Satan. Mithra, you worship Satan, so get away from me. You smell like a Christian idiot. So, already went round and round, right? No, you do. You go rice round. Rice, rice, baby. Ding, 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 ding. Get away from me, Jezebel. Ding, like the Gong Show. Get out of my face. Get your north and south God away from me. There's no such thing as God as a title. There's no such thing as Jesus Christ, Lucifer, planet, rapture. You speak out of tongue. Your perverted tongue is not welcome here. So, yeah, get him out of here. Thank you, Father. Get him up against the wall. So, if you can't be corrected, you're an ass. I tried, but then he called somebody retarded, and that's a mental disability. Some people, that's a child that's never sinned. Yeah, it doesn't matter how old they are, remember? They don't know that what they're doing because they have a disability. And you don't know the difference between like a carburetor, meaning advanced or retarded. Your dialect is retarded. How about that? You speak of a watered down or restrained or limited. Throttled down. Like every woman I ever got on her back, she was screwed. You know anything about like a screw on a carburetor? How do you advance or for like an orifice opening? Either so your tongue, it's not welcome here. Jake, the snake, Roberts. He said, you knew I was a snake before you let me in. And then he let Joe Biden. So watch out for the forked tongue. Dialectus glossus. You know I was a snake before you let me in. Then he let 2 kings, 2 crowns. He said, I come quickly. Let no one take your crown. So you don't have a crown to set at the feet of Shiloh, then you're not going to receive your inheritance. So watch out for those with the alien dialect, alien tongue. Aliens, that's a word. There's no aliens. Aliens are real like big feet. Anakin Spacewalker had a threesome with Chewbacca, and they had a Wookiee with an Ewok, right? So, and now we got big feet too, right? Tell me where it says big feet in your text. And if you don't have the interlinear, then get out of here. If you can't be corrected with the correct text, there's only one accepted text. So, goodbye. I don't sup with vipers. Nope. No deception here. Water, remember? Water. Water. Just little, right? Deception. Just a little bit of leaven leavens the whole lump. So take your deception somewhere else. Deceiver, remember? Who's the deceiver? The one who adds. The one who twists and takes away from the aletheia truth. Even a smallest jot is a perversion. So if you're perverted, you'll have to leave. I don't do perversion. When the president's a cheetophile and a convicted, felon 4 times, and he's an island owner boy, not Epstein. Let's not even do I don't do left or right, so don't go there with your 2 cheeks to the same hole, wings to the same dragon nonsense. My bad. Used to do that in the classroom back when I was ornery and sat at the back of the class always, and science class sat there by the sink, and teacher come back there and check that faucet and never leaked. I wasn't a nice guy in school. So. I do it better if I'm gonna wet my whistle a little bit. Speaking of, where's my water? Hold on, let me grab that water. Oh. Hi, puppy dog. My puppy came over to see the dad. Come to see the dad. We love you, puppy. Yeah, normally trying too hard. That's what it is. What's that? I'm trying to. I'll do it later. It's deception. It's water. It's the age of deception. That age is over. So we'll go back to the Mayflower sign and go back to teaching you this lesson about this once blessed nation, now a corporation, an apostate nation that has stripped the constitutional right of the people, and now merchandises the people under some Chuck E. Cheese tokenized corporation. So, I don't know. Good stuff. They're doing the gospel, though. Now remember, a little leaven leavens the whole lump, so we got to keep it to the gospel. Keep it to the gospel. So, study the gospel in Greek, because it is a book, old Jewish book written in Greek. So, you will find the gospel in Greek. That's where it's at. But the gospel is suffering, peace is antichrist. MAGA, high priest of the Satan church, do as thou will. Free will? No free will. Can't do it. Trying too hard. All right, so, but let's remember they came over here as a peoples will say that we're not celebrating because we're not supposed to celebrate. And, right out the gate, that should show you something. Thanks stealing or thanks killing or Thanksgiving, whatever you want to call it. Father allowed the genocide of these pagans, not Native Americans. We had this discussion last night. They weren't natives. They wandered over the ice bridge in the ice ages. We had Maunder minimums, Dalton, Ort, Wolf, Spore. You've forgotten your historical record. That we live on a rock that's frozen most of the time. 98% of the time, not 70 and sunny. So grow up. They wandered from the south, the Mayans. Don't you know the Mayans, remember? Herculobus, the great destroyer. They knew these Yuga cycles. So I don't want to... I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? This is all perverted. They weren't Native Americans. They were pagans, and they were Satanists, and they were going after pole gods, just like Christians and the Egyptians and the Catholics, which is Satanism, Catholicism. So if you cannot understand how this nation was formed off of what you would call the Mass A, and that's Christmas, Christ Mass, the thing that killed my dad. You know, he dressed up as Satan. I told you this in the past. That's why Father gave me this knowledge since I was, you know, younger, to have not want to do this. And even when I did, it didn't feel right. Even after, when I had a child, it didn't take long for I said, not doing this. You know, the celebration of Satan is not correct. You can doctor it up with some Jesus in the middle of the winter, but that's not the Hamashiach. So this is why they celebrated this sun god, Mass A, the perversion of what is Jezebel, Baal in the Grove, tree worship, tree, Moloch, December 25th. Satan was born on December 25th. That's the Mass A. They came here fleeing the sacrament of the Mass, which was the Catholic Church that would slaughter you if you would not go to their Mass A. I don't care if you were Christian, but they were impaling Christians on poles, kind of like these cartel are about ready to do here in America, hang people off bridges, and you don't have any idea what's about foot, because nothing new under the sun, like Solomon said, and they're just doing a repeat. But back to what these Mass A, this is the church, this is the Red Cross, yeah, whatever. The Knights Templar, grow up. America was founded on Christmas. You understand? Wake up. They outlawed that. Remember? Washington said you cannot sell it. It's an orgy. The Mass A, so you might as well say thanks stealing, because it's the same thing, thanks killing. Father said, here, have some blankets. No matter if he gave it to the people, he killed the people here because they were pagans and they were Satanists. They were not Native Americans. Stop it. Stop telling yourself these lies. You know, there's such thing as a fake Jew, you know. We got one in office, got many of them. Most of them support it. The whole Israel bull crap. That's not some nation out in the middle of the desert. Stop letting your mind wander. You need to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Well, this might hit home with you, Sabrina, and thanks for speaking up on it, because I'm just trying to point out the obvious. Although people had been here for decades, centuries, brothers and sisters, the Chinese were here in the 14th century. So I don't hear this crap. Christopher Columbus discovered America. He didn't discover America. Again, the Chinese were here in the 14th century. 1492, sailed the ocean blue, followed by the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. They were fleeing the Catholic Church, brothers and sisters, which is still Christianity today. It's a perversion. They go after the Pope Papa. They celebrate the Mass A, the sun god. Their father is Satan. They go after Old Testament, Yahweh. Still a flesh God, not the God of I am. There's only one creator. We don't celebrate gods of totem and gods of beast heads of man and, bodies of men and beasts. This is all part of this, brothers, sisters. Although, like the celestial signs I've told you, they hold value in the celestial firmament. We don't celebrate any of these things, and especially under this new covenant. No, okay, appreciate it, Sabrina, because I'm not pointing this out to you. We don't realize these customs. I did it, and Christmas killed my dad. He dressed up as Satan, and it killed him. Not that actual, but he did. And then getting ready for Christmas 2 days before Christmas, 1 day before Christmas Eve, he burnt the whole house down, getting ready for Christmas. So Christmas killed my dad. So this hits home to me. I did it. I was guilty. I celebrate. I could show you pictures of me doing this stupid pagan crap, birthdays and all this expectation and all this. So, but when I was 16, the father took my dad from me, in a fire, in a house fire, everything burned up. You've been here maybe before. I told you, I don't go into whole details, but I left with not even shoes on my feet. I didn't have nothing. I had to start over, run the streets of Los Angeles and try not to get thrown in jail by LAPD. Who were us trying to throw me in jail because I didn't have a guardian. you know, living on the streets of LA after you lose your dad and your house, you know. So it's just made me this way where people don't like me because this time of year they're like, dude, why do you get all weird? Everybody wants to celebrate. Why do you stop telling everybody don't do this? We're not supposed to do these things. You know, this is a pagan holiday, and Christ's Mass is the celebration of the sun god Mithra at the time of Rome, and that's the Mass A. That is the sacrament of the Mass. Christ's Mass, that's an orgy, was outlawed. They throw you in jail for that at the founding of this country because that's why they came over here. And Father said, come over here to this nation. Whether I don't care about your details. This is how this went down. I'm telling you details. This is called the Mayflower Nation. What it says in the scripture. They came over here fleeing Catholicism, Christianity, Calvinism, baptism, the church. They fled the church. They would kill you if you would not go to their Mass. Hey, eat my body, drink my blood. That's vampism. That's cannibalism. This is the perversion of paganism. These are pagan gods, and we're not to celebrate any gods. And this is why Father, under this covenant, said, do not celebrate anything under this testament through the Hamashiach. Okay? Yeah, I mean, it's like double demon. You know what a demon is, Eli? We're going to take a pause, okay? So you know what a double demon is? That's us when we celebrate this stuff, right? It's like a game of cards, like blackjack. You ever play blackjack there, Eli? Anybody else want to participate? You know where I'm going with this. This is just part of how I teach this lesson. A demon is a distributor of fortunes or lies to others. A lie. Somebody who tells lies. Not some hocus pocus. Oh, demon. They used to pray to their dead ancestors for fortunes. To their deities. Little g gods for fortunes. By having burnt offerings of flesh, Christmas on December 25th, where they eat the Massé, the king of the Massé. After orgy barbecuing and marinate him in sex, beast. It was bestiality. Jesus is bestiality, the God of beast, man, and woman. Beast, breast, hoof, horn, and beast. The people are just lost. So, this lying to our children from a beginning age and telling them that this fat guy is now doesn't fit through a chimney because we don't have one is fitting through a keyhole magically or under the door seam. Crack. What are these people smoking? You're breeding this deception like, you know, Eli says, and telling these children lies. So if you ever anybody play a game of blackjack, put blackjack or 21 or whatever so I know you can hear me. You know, like you ever play at blackjack, you split the aces, you know? I call it like blackjack. It's a double demon because you tell those children that this big fat guy and wearing fuzzy white with a pointy, you know, tree-looking tree worship, tree on top of the head. Anyway, little star on top of the tree, Christmas hat. Hello, this is sun worship. Paganism, aligning on top of this is what he's worried. Oh, never mind. So Krampus, remember, eat your kids, throw your kids in the fire. This is who this is. Krampus, eat your Moloch, Satan, Jesus Christ. It's a perversion of the same sun god. So you tell this child that this fat guy is slamming himself through the keyhole, right? And then look, and then hey, anybody ever play blackjack? Put 21 in there if you ever play blackjack, because if you get blackjack, if you get aces, you can split your bet and split your aces and double down. So you can be a double demon, because then you put these cookies out there and milk, and then you tell the kids that the fat guy ate it too. And you know, guess what, Eli? You're the one who gave them those presents. A distributor of fortunes or lies, a demon. That's you. And then you double down and double demon and tell them that you ate the milk and cookies. Right? Oh, no, you tell him that the big fat guy, see, it's you. You're a liar. I call it my little game of blackjack. So, all right, back to the lesson. So, what do you think? Whatever it is what I do. You know what it is what I do? It's like splitting aces on a deck of double demons, doubling down on your children. First tell them about the guy coming down the chimney, and you know damn good well that you drank that milk and ate those cookies. So, oh, wait, yeah, you gave them the fortunes, presents, distributors of fortunes or lies. So, yeah, anybody get it? So that's my little game. You got to have an attention span. You can't have TikTok brain to understand that one. But anyways, all right, moving on. The Mayflower Nation celebrating the sacrament of the Mass, celebrating an orgy. The orgy of the celebration of the sun god, where they had sex with man, beast, and woman. I've showed you this. It's on the, I'm not going to stand up right now, but it's all part of this swastika, the north and south, the sun aligned, over the winter at the equinox, equal day, equal night, 3:23, 12:23, right? 6:23, 9:23, 12:23, 3:23, 6:23, 9:23. That's the swastika. It's the sign of that Big Dipper. They thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper. Wheel in the sky keeps on turning. We're not supposed to have to go after sky gods. Father doesn't exist in the sky. Father doesn't come from a ball planet. Father is not a star. Father doesn't come from stars. Father is the Word. Father created the stars. Stop telling me Father comes from balls in the sky. Go take your eyeballs or your 2 balls, the man's nuts, grab them, and get them out of here. These nuts, 2 of them, get them out of here. So I don't do this nonsense. You guys keep celebrating this mass. Hey, it killed my dad. So not that, but the little, celebration of this orgy pagan that was outlawed by Washington, and they throw you into a jail and fine you for celebrating this orgy. So stop with your tradition of the mass is Thanksgiving. Well, it's the same thing. You need to grow up and realize that Father sent, these people over here to this land to set up a place, and yes, slaughter all the people here, even under this new covenant, which that's hard for me because we're not supposed to go eye for an eye under this, but it was Father's will be done. I'm not going to question. He does all things after his own counsel and for his own pleasure. So let's go back to why he cleared this land of these pagan heathens that were Satanist sun gods. I don't care. They're Christians, Catholics, Protestants back in the day. You don't celebrate gods of multiple genders and gods of beast heads. And that's what this was. And it's throughout many traditions, and they just spin it. It's been thousands of years. We see it through the Egyptian, celebration. That's Christianity. It's the same thing. You just keep spinning this same perversion. It's not okay with Father. There's one creator, and he created the Hamashiach to tell us not to celebrate anything. So you think it's okay to put your all your energy to the middle of the winter celebrating this new year in the middle of the winter? You're an idiot. No, you're not. You're not an idiot. You live in a world that's, you've got the interweb, and you're caught up in some other net worldwide. I don't know where you're at, but it's not. You will be held accountable. The search bars, remember Casey Enter from the Stars, # search bars matter. I did this a long time ago on this platform, brothers, sisters. 12 years ago, I was trying to explain to you this through other bloggers, going on other platforms, doing this and trying to explain to you about, you're going to be held accountable in this age of At the end of the age, the knowledge will be increased. We've already seen that, and now we're in the age of revelation. So we made it to those yods, jots, and diddles of the last text before this great and dreadful day of the Lord. So it's not here now. It could be hundreds, thousands of years within this age. So nobody's picking a date. Don't go there. We're supposed to be already wise, girded in his service, lamps trimmed, because if we die, that great and dreadful day of the Lord, that's when he said he returned. That's the grateful dreadful. That's when he said, have your loins girded in my service. That's what he means. You. He's talking to you right there. Hello, you. Are you listening to me? The word, no, you don't hear it. So it ain't about a timeline. Get off your stupid timeline. It's not 2025. You don't live on a planet. God's not in the sky. Yeah, don't go by your little perverted 2025 Jesus, okay? Your 2025 Pegmas that's getting ready to come up. Anybody who celebrates this year is a complete, well, whatever. It's most people. Anybody who thinks it's 2025, their head has been completely severed off the front of their brain skull, their cap-thinking cranium, whatever you want to call it, It's called the sky. How about that? Not above your head. Grow up. So anyways, the Masse. It is. The skies will roll back like a scroll. Noah was crazy, huh? And then it rained. You ever read the book of Luke? So it's all right. He said to meet him in the sky. You think that means above your head? No, it's not. Shut up and get away from me if you think that passage means to meet him somewhere above your head. That's right. Larry has got it correct. Paul spoke of that. The kingdom of heaven is within. Paul told us to cut off the outer man because the inner man can't sin. With the body is the temple, right? The most High doesn't dwell in temples made by the Most High, doesn't dwell in temples made by hands, because the body, he destroyed the physical temple. No stone left upon another with his prophecy. Little physical temple destroyed, every building, remember, because he went after little g gods, deities, had burnt offerings of flesh in the middle of the winter to their sun god Mithra at the time of Rome. Here they are doing it again. That's why he destroyed all this physical laws. He said it was fulfilled when they hung him on a tree. He did. He fulfilled all the laws of flesh. They ate lamb, not crackers and grape juice, not puffy turkey, fuzzy bunny, or I don't want to hear a sugar-coated peep out of you, marshmallow. Whatever your Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Ghostbusters, or whatever you're doing. Put little slime creatures from outer space. Put them in a box. That's you. You're in a box is what you are. He doesn't dwell within a temple made by hands, brick, mortar, barger, rafter, rock, block. I don't care. He's with the kingdom of heaven. Christ in you. Remember? He said that. Come out of her, my people. This celebration. Don't you ever read the book of Ecclesiastics? Don't you ever read the book of Amos? Don't you ever read the book of Jeremiah? Don't you ever read any of these texts that it tells us not to celebrate? Oh, heareth the Lord say, Israel, learn not the ways of the heathens, and be not dismayed at the ways of the sides of the firmament, for the heathens are dismayed at them. Their customs, their traditions, their celebrations, their Yule will. That's what he's telling you about, these things that they were celebrating in Rome, the celebration of the sun god in the middle of the winter. This is why he destroyed the physical temple. This is why he had himself hung from a tree to make a contract between his bride that's written on the hearts of the bride. It used to be the law. It was called the Torah. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, and Deuteronomy were the law. That's right. The king, he's not a religion, a relationship. He's the word. The word is Hokadesh. He wrote the letter to the 7 churches for Christ's sake in the book of Revelation. I am Pastor Revelation and asked for a letter in front of my name, but you got 50, 60,000 plus. We kick 20,000 people out of here a month. You're not supposed to sup with vipers. See people with a viper tongue. People who broad is the way that leads to the wide gate. That's hell. The word is abyss. Revelation 9:11, I come quickly. No, that's 3:11. He says, let no one take your crown. Remember? I'm not under some laws of flesh. People, you can't have tattoos. Shut up. You never read the word at all, do you? The word is Hokadesh. He spoke all this into existence, did he not? The word became flesh. That's the Hamashiach who hung from a tree like a contract, not a cross. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Remember, this was the law, the Torah. He fulfilled all these laws of flesh, but people don't even sit down. I don't care if they're a biblical scholar. Bring them in here. I'm not above anybody. I'm just a dude who loves the word. He made me. If I didn't call out to their hearts, remember, it's written on the hearts of the bride to seek after me, the heart that's continually filled with wickedness, that not one of them would. Not one of us would seek after Father because of the phileo. Go read the word. Stop piddling around with these religious idiots. Watered down milk is all you're getting. I'm giving you the meat. Remember what it says in the book of Malachi? Eat of the meat. So people don't like it. They like religion. Religion is vain. He destroyed religion. He destroyed rituals and celebrations so that we don't start trying to make riches and thinking we can covetousness and get to, because we eat this or don't. You can eat whatever you want under this covenant. It's not what goes in a man, and it's man and woman under this covenant, Jew, Gentile, black, white, brown, and red and yellow, all flesh under this covenant. That's it. You know what it is. You already know the answer, and I'm not speaking down to you, Larry. You know what those are, the fake Jews that it speaks in Scripture, the ones from the north. It's not hard. We were warned. The bride is all 180. I'm a veteran. That's why I don't see color. I was born in the concrete jungle around all Los Angeles, where everybody was honorary to me. I grew up as a minority, so I love everybody. I don't see race. I don't see color. There's one race, the human race. You telling me when a man's trying to split my wig and pop my grape that this man has more melanin in his skin or less, or the shape of his eyes? You know what I'm saying? That we're a race? No, we're the hominoid species. There's been several other than us before. Cro-Magnon, Homo sapien. I don't want to go. Just hear me out. In this slice of pie, in this time, it's this Jews that were in the middle of the desert, and now it's all flesh. When he says in the book of Jeremiah, as I was just speaking earlier, "Oh, hear what the Lord say, Israel under this new covenant," he's not talking about some place in the middle of the desert. He's talking about all flesh, black, white, brown, red, yellow, Jew, Gentile, man and woman equally coveted, not one above another. He had his pride. Heavens, Israel was his heavens. His no nation could come against that nation. His heavens, Israel, his pride, like a pride of lions. Pride was not a sin. Eye for an eye. See, people have forgotten the old law, forgotten the way this works, forgotten that he made. No, he didn't write it on the hearts of the bride. Only is it written on the hearts of the bride, those his disciples that bear witness, that go through suffer for these words that come out of my face, because he makes me say them. I don't need to pick up the book. I still study it, but I don't need the book to share the gospel. This is what I share. And through his Shem, through his suffering, through his Agape, through his Torah, through Old Testament becoming this New Testament that he paid that contract on that tree that day when they hung him, like it says in the book of Acts, cursed. They cursed, hangeth from the tree, and they took him down. Remember, they veiled his face. We were in the age of deception, and that age is over. So under this new age, hey, did somebody die? Uh-oh. Somebody must have died. Who died? Somebody's mourning. Did you have a wake? Did you wake up and somebody died there, Storm? Careful with that dialectus tongue. Somebody died. We're supposed to celebrate death, not mourn. People mourn death and celebrate birth. I'm not supposed to celebrate birth, remember? You got it all backwards. Don't mourn. Somebody died. Did you have a wake? Did you wake up? Somebody died. You mourning? So careful with that dialectus gloss of tongue. It's hard to get that one out of your face, Pyle. It is, because we say it often. I don't have Tango here anymore, so I used to say it a little bit more, but okay, so try to get that out of your tongue. I'm just saying, do you understand me? If you do, then you can get off your knees. You know what I've been licked, okay? No, I know when I've been licked. Oh, now we both know. So anyways, see, don't understand. You need to overstand. Remember the language that we dialect, this gloss of tongue that we speak in this modern day, this English is meant to bring our vibration down. So you should overstand, never understand me. Somebody say, you understand me? Say, no, I don't understand you. You can get on your knees, but I overstand what you're saying. So. Oh, man. Been there, single parent. There you go. Good. It's important, Larry, because, vibration and these things are important. He is the word. Word is dialectus, gloss of tongue. I don't know what I was right about, Storm, but I'm not right. I don't have to be right. The word is what's truth, aletheia. I just try to bring people to the word. That's if somebody's in the broad way, because we've been there, guilty, phileo, sinner, not perfect, not some perfect servant saint. I make mistakes still to this day. So it's a narrowing. Narrow is the way that leads to the straight gate. Straight is the gate. Broad is the way that leads to the wide gate. Remember, he's got the key to the abyss, the sky, knowledge. Meet him in the sky. The skies will roll back like a scroll. Cuckoo. All right. But anyway, so if you look at your vernacular, your dialectus, your glossy, your tongue, brothers, sisters, the English language really pulls our vibration down, because even if you think like people think they believe, okay, well, I apologize. That's a hard thing, but you don't want to be with the Jezebel, somebody you have to equally yoke. And Father, if that's it, then he's crafty. And under this covenant, he's not making you Old Testament. It's got to be the physical act of adultery. Now he said, if you covet another man's wife, that is adultery. So God's not wanting us to stay equally yoked with somebody who doesn't love the word. That is a Jezebel. You are a Jezebel, a man or a woman. I don't remember, Storm. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female under this covenant. Or we were just saying here to Larry, when it's all flesh. It's not just heavens. His pride. Woman even couldn't speak in the church, the temple. Okay, now Mary had declared Christ had risen, and his sister. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought I remember. Okay, no worries. So, either way, so. That's a bummer, because that's all. It doesn't matter under, like I said, because it's harder as a dad. I was a single dad, and if you have kids now, man, that's a big responsibility, because it's a lot. I'm not saying it's a lot easier, but there's a lot more information out for mothers, because it's predominantly more mothers get the child, father goes out, works. It just kind of the way I don't know. A lot of states are kind of designed that way, but let's not get off topic here. But I hope that you can work something out. Um, their mom is their mom, and like that. I don't want to get into all it. Hopefully, there's some kind of good separation where they still get to have some kind of relationship, because it's not like a deal breaker. But as far as them, they have to. And I'm warning. I kind of pushed my son on my mom, his mom on him to have a relationship, because I'm a little more formal, and it didn't work out well. He ended up getting hurt a couple of times, and I feel really bad about that, because I'm kind of formal, like that's your mom. I don't care what, you have just some respect there, and it didn't, push him back in there, try to mend their relationship. And I don't want you to disclose any of that here. But hopefully the way things are worked under this thing, that if you guys can come up with an equal, where that doesn't come in the way of the children, because they're innocent and they don't need to have parents don't work out. I come from a separated, my dad and mom got a divorce at a very young age. I know what happens. So, but it doesn't mean you sit there and stay yoked to somebody your whole life and be miserable. And he said, do not sup with vipers, and do not cast your pearls before swine. So it's hard for people to, especially if that's something that's a deal breaker, because normally it's bills or infidelity, you know what I'm saying, or something you didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So we are not under this covenant. He broke that. Remember, he said when he was here on this rock, because remember, then women, I've given you this lesson. If you've been here, Storm, hope we'll kind of reiterate that under the old contract of Deuteronomy, you had to go to a public place and nail. That's why he did what he did. Your wife to a tree. Remember? No, you didn't nail your wife to a tree. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to laugh here, bring up a little bit, because where it's a little tough subject. So you had to nail that bride bill of divorce. First, it was a bill of marriage. This is in the book of Deuteronomy. It talks about all the formalities of how we're yoked and how this marriage became contract, a public place with two witnesses. Notice he had the two witnesses, thieves, and they hung him instead of that paper contract, he hung his flesh to fulfill all the paper, all the laws of flesh. That's so beautiful. I love that. So many people miss that, but that's why he didn't hang from a cross. They hung him from a tree. And that's what you do. You go nail that bill of marriage to a tree and have two witnesses honor that contract. And that became a binding legal marriage under the Old Law Testament in the book of Deuteronomy. So he came back because, remember, they had made their halakha and haggadah, the teaching they'd made after wandering in the desert without a place to study. They wanted that. He gave them the rabbis, which later became in the synagogues, which came the Pharisees, and those who could still speak the Old Testament Torah Hebrew would be the Sadducees, right? So, okay, cool. Hear me out. I'll try to go through this as quick as I can for Storm here, because it's a hard time to unyoke from somebody, because especially when there's kids involved. So when Christ was here, that's what they had done. They had made their own law. Remember that the rabbis had made their halakha and their haggadah, which was the oral and written law. The oral law you could speak but not write down. And they perverted this, where water baptism and all these fees of taking that, if something fell off the back of the cart under the Old Testament, it was supposed to be left there for the poor. These Pharisees had created a big boy club where they could go and glean all these from the poor. And Father did not remember taxing in the church. He went in there and, you've turned my Father's house into a den of thieves. And he turned over the money changers and whipped the people. You had to have 2 turtle doves at the altar, water. They'd made all these perverted rituals from the Old Testament Torah with their halakha and haggadah, which Larry was talking about earlier, knows a little bit, but maybe not. I can add to his. That's what we do. We add to faith, creating their Talmud, or what is called the Mishnah. And their Mishnah contains the halakha and the haggadah, or their Targum, Talmud, Mishnah, Old Testament, right? Perversion from the old Torah. So if you know the Torah, then they created the Talmud, the fake, the ones to create this perverted halakha, haggadah, where the haggadah you could write down, but you couldn't speak, right? The halakha you could speak, but not write down. So it was an oral and a written law, because remember, the law was given to Moses on the mount, right, of the temple, and that law was pounded into the scribes by the rocks. into the scrolls or the tablets to create this Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So what had happened is they went after other gods, little g gods, deities, celebrating Christmas under a different name. They were told to go in the wilderness and scout out the giants. They were eating flesh. That's mass A. That's eating human flesh. Father doesn't want us eating human flesh. That's in the land of Anak, the land of Anak, or the Anunnaki, which were giants, not fallen angels from the sky. Stop all. They were giants. They were in Gaza. Gaza is Anaki, the giants, the Philistines, the champions. Palestine, Philistine, champions. These people have lost. That's why you need to study maps, as I teach in here. Brother Jim does as well. You need to study culture, custom maps. You're going to lose all of this. It's been 2,600 years just since the New Testament. Remember, we need to remember 6,000, Old Testament, Torah, all these laws. We're not under these laws, and people put themselves, we do it, I've done it, under the Old Testament law by ripping Christ down from the contract. Remember, you had to go to a public place. We'll go right back to what we're talking about, into a public place and nail that bill of marriage to a tree. Now, they created their law, like, again, all the fields around, all that outer, if it fell off the cart, was supposed to, you could go into a field and glean from the fields, right? You couldn't take store with you, but you could glean and, and it wasn't like breaking the law. No. There is no. See, that doesn't exist. There is no hominoid species that are not. They were giants. Giants are human, whether you like it or not. There are species that Father has created called, they are a hominoid Anunnaki. Remember, David was, or David slayed an Anunnaki. That's what Goliath was, an Anunnaki from the land of Anak. Okay? So I'm trying to get you, it's okay. It's all right. But that's what they do. They go after gods in the sky and sun gods. And so they were, giants are real. Fallen angels are not a thing. Fallen doesn't mean from the sky. It means they've fallen from the heavens, from the ruling class, Aaron and Levi. That's what Lucifer, remember, in a third, right? No, not Lucifer. Let's get that out of our dialect too, because people want to think that Lucifer is it. Lucifer is not a thing. That's not, to get this whole, that's all of what this is, this sun god worship. Gods in the sky. Father is the word. Father is the word Hokadesh. Hokadesh is ghost. There's no such thing as ghost. Well, there is, because that's Father. Father is ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. See Ghostbusters, what they do? They do this in everything. They pervert what Father spoke all of this into existence. Where does that come from? A ball or a star? Remember, Father created, it tells us that in Genesis, the stars, the sun and the moon, correct? He created these for times and seasons. In Matthew, it tells us there will be signs in the stars, sun and moon. Where does it say there's a planet? Where does it say there's a planet? Remember this king star? This is a gas giant. Hercolobus, the Mayans called this. They knew the Yuga cycles. Yep, it is. I think it's here, though, too. We see it already a little bit, Sabrina. I think we see a little bit of it in Baron Trump. I think we might see it in Baron Trump. I don't want to go there. My son pointed this out during the scamdemic, that some of these children being born during that time. And it has a lot to do, too, with, I don't want to break off on this too much more, but with a lot of how much, because we're not supposed to worship the sun, but how much energy is coming from that sun. When we go into a blank, that creates longer life, longevity. They've already shown that. You can do research. If you know your lineage in your family, go back through. I guarantee you this will overlay 100%. If they were born during a solar minimum, think about this, Sabrina, too, because you're an Inuit. I want you to really study this, in your brain and let this sit in, because you'll understand this. Like I said, this time where the sun quiets down, we go into you live longer. Go into any one of your family's members and look at the sunspot count during their life and their lifetime. If they didn't die from an accident by car, some kind of a natural cause, pretty much, and nobody dies from old age anymore. Everybody dies of disease, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. But in a sense, you'll see that the people who live longer in your family, throughout your history were born during a time where there was none or less, or when the sun goes blank. And we've had that in past, that these people live for longer times. This has a lot. I've studied this for quite some time. I don't want to go off on this, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't watch it. I try to stay away from that. So, but just go back. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, because you're an Inuit, you understand the cold cycles. Wait a minute. People live longer during the cold. They become hard. Remember, I talked about that, Sabrina, with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to just hyper focus on you, but you're an Inuit. So you don't appreciate, you live north and the Nordic and Game of Thrones. Here we go. Nordic gods. And but if you look at the sunspot cycle, okay, and go through your history, you'll see the people who live the longest. Yeah, no, but just because what my son said, it's not, because this is in the same discussion, okay? Because the Mass is eating human flesh. This is what Catholicism is. This is what less exposure to cosmic radiation. No, more. Actually, Larry, more. The negation, it cancels. It comes down. Our atmosphere. I have a lot of teaching on this, on the magnetosphere, the heliosphere, the stenosphere, the ionosphere, the ozone layer, all the stratosphere. What our atmosphere works in many functions, but magnetosphere is the one that protects us from that solar radiation. So it's actually reverse. We get bombarded by more. That's why they're spraying. I'm the only person I know that has a chemtrailer tattooed on my body, because it's important that this is, it is scriptural what they're doing up there, whether you realize it or not. It's like solar radiation management, but why are they spraying us with aluminum, barium, strontium, cow blood, yellow mold spores, I've done videos on this. So okay, I'm going to push forward. So, because it's not off topic, okay, from what you're saying, okay, because I want you to, because this is all, listen, guys, during these times, when the sun depletes its energy and our atmosphere shrinks down, that's why the sun is white and not yellow anymore. 3 solar cycles ago, we're in 25, 24, 23, and 22. That's about 11 to 12 year cycle. 36 years ago, the sun used to be very yellow, orangish, and even, now it's white because our atmosphere is shrunk down. We're closer to the sun. Heat makes magnetism dissipate. If you take a magnet, I have a magnet right here. Let's see if I can get off here. It's a neat end of magnet. It's pretty strong. If you take a magnet and you put it in the fire and you come watch a, HD fat chat and come in here and talk about it, we're going to be here for a couple hours, whatever, it burns out. It loses its magnetism. So our atmosphere, the magnetosphere, has shrunk down. Heat makes magnetism dissipate. Now watch. If you took a torch, light it up, can't have TikTok brain or you're not going to catch this. You're lit a torch. There's a lot of debris, carbon, soot in the flame. The higher you turn that flame, that goes from yellow. If you follow that spectrum up, you can see what's happened to our atmosphere. It gets, orange, right, with all the carbon particulate in it. Then it gets kind of orangish yellow. Then it gets kind of yellow. Then it gets yellow white, right? And then it gets white, and then you turn that heat all the way up, right? So think about that in our atmosphere. People say something's happened. Nothing's happened to the sun. The sun is still the same. Oh, there's a sun simulation. Stop it. Our atmosphere is shrinking down. We are now closer to the sun, whether you like it or not. We are. It's been cycles, 30, over this, but this is actually a longer cycle as well. We're like 6,000 years in a 90,000 year cycle. People only know generally of the 12-year cycle of the sun, solar maximum and then solar minimum. That's the average. I just told you 33 or 36 years ago, 3 solar cycles. We're in 25 right now, 24, 23, 22. See, over these last 36 years, you would have noticed that 36 years. And here's how I do this too, Larry. When I'm doing this for more than, for about 6 or 7 years, even on this channel and many times I ask people, when you were a kid and they gave you a box of crowns, whatever, 14 or whatever, 24 crowns or whatever, and that's a picture that had the coloring page. It had the little house and the dog house or whatever, maybe the bird and the tree and the sun. What color would you use? What color crown? Put it in now, right now. What color? When you were a kid, what color would you draw the sun? because I've done this. I teach with a whiteboard, and I can't draw the sun, colors, because your brain doesn't register it. It has to, for your brain to register something to be a sun, it literally would have to have a certain tint to it. So yellow, when you grew up, thanks. Okay. Yellow. That's right. I'm saying yellow. Okay. It's, and you guys are yellow. So you guys must be just a little bit younger than me, somewhere in your 40s, 30s and 40s, just by what you know what I'm saying? So older, I'm older, so I might say yellow orange, you know what I'm saying? See, there we go. And I don't mean to go there, but see how that works? Because they're like, dude, why are you paying attention to this stuff? But see what I'm saying? In that cycle, you're right. The sun wasn't that orange. If people were in their 70s, you know what I'm saying? Ask somebody if they were in their 70s or something, they'll tell you the sun was orangish yellow. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Why did they say orange? Larry, they held it back or orange. Dude, YouTube did that because the president paints his face with makeup, orange makeup, dude. YouTube, you are freaking... oh, no, it wasn't. It was... Or maybe it was. You're 69. You're 69. Okay. It didn't show that either. What's going on, YouTube? So anyways, okay. Appreciate your call. So anyways, let's go back to what I'm saying, guys. So as our atmosphere has shrunk down, we are getting bombarded by solar radiation from our sun. Do you need to go outside or something, Mr. Bonbon? So, and that's because over the last 3 solar cycles, our atmosphere shrunk down. So back to what I'm saying. During these solar minimums, guys, they have shown that the life expectancy of somebody, if they take care of their body, increase. And I've been studying somebody who knows that these elite know this. They know this. They know that during these cycles that they get life extension. So cold, yep. And now it's white hot. So I asked people, so what color is the sun now, guys? I asked people and they tell me they don't know. Seriously, there's something, but you guys obviously paying attention, but I ask this question a lot, when I'm out in public. Is just what I do as a pastor and a deacon, just what I do. And then I ask people, what color is the sun now? And they say, I don't know. I don't look at the sun. We're not supposed to look at the sun. I get that answer more than you think. Really do. The NPC, you know what I'm saying? The non-player character, I don't know. What color is it? I didn't ask you what to ask me what. I just asked. You're going to see, you're already dealing with a numbskull. They're repeating the damn question, ask you to ask a question. So thanks for your participation, guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no, it happens, Larry, on this channel too. It's a shadow band channel. It'll show there's nobody in here, and there'll be 15 or 20 of you guys in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, darn it, YouTube. So anyways, all right, thanks for your participation, guys. So let me focus on what you guys seeing. So if you blew that, see you guys, remember, so you know how that torch, you know how that torch, like I said, if you lit a torch, it's going to go from yellow, and the higher you get that. So we're in that white flame right now, if you think about it. And if the sun got any hotter, guys, I'm not saying to make a prediction, okay? What color would the sun turn next? It's white right now. This is why, because our atmosphere is shrinking. The magnetosphere, the heliosphere, not the heliosphere, it's the sun's protection. My bad. That's the sun. The stenosphere, the ozone, all this is starting to decrease. And we'll go back to, right? Isn't that crazy? I'm not saying that it would turn blue, but they would, guys, because of light spectrum. Thank you. You understand there. So, there you go. So I'm not saying it will, but if we get any hotter, that sun gets any hotter, that sun would turn blue. It would, guys. I don't want it to, because I've asked people this then. What color is the sky going to be then? Because it's a spectrum, guys. Remember, we see a tiny light spectrum. We don't see things in infrared. We don't hear certain resonance and frequency, and that's why they change these things on us, and really to get us to, come on. They do this. They play visual and verbal voodoo with us. They do it in colors. Brainstorm, green needle. What the hell? That'd be different though. Vodka. It would, because what happened? The spectrum could change. It turn blue, because if that's a good thing. That's a good point. if the sky didn't change and the sun turned blue, thank you. Nobody's ever got that. Finally, you're so freaking smart. I don't know if that's what you meant, Vodka, but I've been saying that forever I've said it on multiple channels and nobody's ever got that because I always ask, what color will the sky turn? So I don't know if you caught that's what I meant, but that's what I've been trying to get people to say. I don't think the sky's going to change colors. It could, Yeah, the gold and blue thing. There you go, Eli. So deception, so gold and blue. Yeah, the dress, the stripes, and you got it, man. Brainstorm, Green Needle, all this stuff, man. Verbal and visual voodoo. They've been playing with us, putting flicker rates. And when you go down, when you're old, when you're as a kid, you're sitting there with your wife, and you're sitting there, and they're doing this every 10th frame or something, flashing popcorn at you, and you're telling your wife like, hey, okay, give me some popcorn, and you're like. She's like, honey, you don't like popcorn. We'll get yourself some chocolate or something, honey. Get some of those little things in the cardboard roll, the chocolate. Remember those things too? Little stars or something, Honey, you don't like popcorn. But it's that, like a beat, like a chant, like a mantra, and they'll beat it into you. And then we don't realize they do that. We sing songs to genres of music we don't like. We know every word to that song. How do we know that? How do they do that to us? Come on, there's some songs we don't really like that. He's like, how do I know that song? So they do this to us over time. It's an algorithm. The algorithm is a dancer. Kind of like they do at their rituals at their opening of the CERN. No need for concern at the pit in Switzerland. Their va 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 ritual. Their CERN, va, the 666 logo. So, but okay. Anyways, it is the rhythm of the night. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know it. That's so, but it is. It's all, see what I'm saying, though, guys? It is this beating this, and they're doing this right now, too. We'll step back in what I'm saying, too, because we really needed, guys, we're so close to something happening with the sun. Look at the color of it. Look at what's happening with it. It did come to life when whatever came around that backside. The other, we've been having northern lights. They had northern lights in freaking Venezuela. Northern lights in Venezuela. Northern lights at the freaking equator. No, everything's perfect. Everything's awesome. Team America, Team Switzerland's team, whatever country you're in. They're all in and out together on Switzerland. It may be, Gunner. I don't know. See, because if you knew, maybe you could tell me the spectrum, because there would be some kind of spectrum change. If the sun became blue and the sky was blue, it could have a different hue. I'm not saying, I've thought about it before a lot, and I can't quite come up with the color it would be, and you might be right. Well, I mean, when you start blending, that's right. The north ain't so north anymore. A lot of changes, a lot of anomalies happening too with the magnetism, guys. You guys are on this. So they know this, guys. This is what we're in the middle of what is called a magnetic excursion. We haven't had a pole shift. A pole shift means that your compass would be pointed to the south. That happens every 11 years on the sun in that solar cycle. It happens about what do you think causes that? That has an elliptical around the sun. I'm just using the model. It is what it is up in the firmament at 11.9 years. What causes our solar cycle? Gee, I wonder if it's that second largest gas giant in our star system up there. When it moves around, it pulls everything around with it. You ever heard of magnetism? So polarity. A pole shift means that the compass will be pointed to the south. The compass has been wandering a lot, and we haven't seen. A full reversal would be a pole shift. Just so you know, we used to have that shift in magnetism every 300 to 360,000 years, like on a clock. Ding! Through our soil samples, through all this strata, all this core paleo records, all, if you understand and studying this, well, no, it's going into a minimum. Quite the opposite. It's going into a minimum for what you see what I'm saying, because of the solar minima, the cycle of the minima. This is why the Hopi got down 10 feet under the ground. These aren't ant people with digits and lizard peoples and shapeshifters. These were men.
who got down 10 stories into the geothermal portion of the rock so that when for thousands of years it's cold, you can still be alive and survive. There's lights, the way to create light in the inner fiber optics. See, they know that too. They already shit in Africa. There's rocks that emit light and all this. Back to Baron the time traveler. This is important, guys. Why do you think they put this book out? That's what that is, Larry. That's what that is. Is it Enderman? What's the other one? It's not Enderman. That's a game or something, isn't it? Squatterman, or is the electromagnetism of it, arc discharging and literally lighting up these. You got it. That's what those are. Those are the frequencies. That's what they were seeing. They went into the caves because that's what they saw outside. They went in there to protect. Notice there are animals on the cave. Most of these things are animals that they could bring into the caves, you know. Well, I understand that. Okay, but listen to what I'm saying. I know we're getting bombarded. Okay, but yes. Okay, but what it's going to do though in the cycle. I totally got you though. Okay, because there's always kind of a poof with one of these, and that's why Bend over Harley Davidson, is counting on this super task. Once you go right over near Colorado, and go right near the government. So the sun is going to solar minima though, and grand solar minima eventually, because if you look through all this ice core data and all this paleo records, climatology, all these records, you'll see that the sun it cycles and it goes into this minima more than because it's going to pop. You know what I'm saying? One day at a time here. So it's gonna emit energy, okay? And so, but hear me out. During these minima, if you look, 98% of the time, do you guys realize that we are on a frozen rock, correct? It's not 70 and sunny in this equatorial region that we have. It's not like that. That's not how this rock that we live on works. If you go back, you can find at least 400,000 years of the minima through the wolf and the spore and the Oort and the Dalton and the Mondum. Those are the two recently were mini ice ages. We have been in massive ice ages for tens of thousands of. We don't live on some 70 and sunny ball, third rock from the sun, corkscrewing and spinning through time and space. I don't buy their heliocentric model. Doesn't work. The constellations disprove it. I don't talk about flat around. It takes away from what we're here to do. But these are records that you could go back through and see that this is a very frozen 97% of the time. Are you aware of that? So that's where we're headed, period. The longer the calm, the harder the storm. I have showed these graphs on here. I have linked to others. Even Ben has put this up there. I still watch his channel. I like the guy because he still puts out peer-reviewed information, and he kind of gives you a little wrap-up of some things, whether you like it or not. It makes it a little easier to go through whatever. What happened to the shots of the wind map and stars to, and our stars to close? So he don't do any of that anymore. He streamlines his stuff. He went on the road and he sold out. I don't care. He's a sellout. He's a bend over, Harley Halo, Earth tilt. The Earth's not going to tilt. The Earth, you don't live on the Earth. The Earth is ruled. So got to be careful his dialect of his gloss, but he does put out a lot of good information. So I'd be very careful, with his glass beads. He's pulling glass beads out of his butthole. So it is what it is. I'm sure people don't like certain things about me, and they can say whatever they want about me too. I've been doing this nearly as long as Ben. I've had a channel, 12 years ago, I have more channels than one. I have 6 channels on YouTube. I have more than that. Sometimes forget I do work and create other channels and never put more work on there, but I've had channels taken down, so it is what it is. But I've been doing this quite some time. I've followed Ben since his first video, and I encourage you to watch his channel with discernment. But he is talking about this time where the sun will potentially solar novas, what he's calling, or micronova or whatever, but it's just a cycle. And again, guys, the people who we're only here because people got down into the core of this rock, whether you like it or not, you will not make it. I've been saying this on YouTube for 12 years. You will not uh, um, make it on the surface of this rock, brothers, sisters. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it is what it is, Ryan. I still watch his channel. Even my son is like, Dad, why do you watch him? He's a suspicious. Now I even changed his name from Suspicious Observers to Space Weather News. But I still watch him. I'm not going to deny that I don't. I do. I watch him because he puts out peer-reviewed journal information that I don't have the time to look through all of it. I watch people that I don't want to watch. I've told you guys that for a long time. So you have to discern all things. Don't just watch what you want and tickle your damn ear. You're not going to learn anything if you're biased. You got to be able to distinguish the forest from the trees. I don't like watching him. He's a sellout. What did he observe when he went out with his RV? You know, whatever. He's making money. He's do whatever he wants. So, but what I want you to focus on, guys, that we do live on a rock that's frozen most of the time. And we are in the longest calm that we have ever been in. The longer the calm, the harder the storm. So get ready to get cold. And if you want to survive the cold, you're going to have to get to a core temperature place where you can get down and figure out how are you going to survive and have enough vitamin, you know, B12, D, and all these things where you're not having the sun. But they've got a plan, brothers, sisters. There have been people who have got into the core of this rock through the Yuga cycles, the Kali Yuga. This is what the Mayans knew. This is what, you know, they knew about Herculomus when Jupiter, they called this the Great Destroyer. When it moves, it pulls and tugs all the other, you know, celestial bodies around with it. And that's where we're at right now. Whether you like it or not, we came into what is known as the age of Aquarius. And that age is the age of where when we hit that, we came in the 6th extinction cycle, whether you like it or not. And they know this. They're banking on this, brothers, sisters. We hear and when we hear extinction, people freak out. There's still tomatoes and carrots and crickets and praying mantises and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, we're in the 6th now. That happened at the start of the age. This all started at the, you know, when the conjunction, it was called the Great Conjunction. Remember, like the conjunction that started the age of Pisces from fire to water. This is the Star of David. That Star of David or Star of Bethlehem that brought us into a whole new age. People don't understand how important these celestial markers, like in the stars, sun and moon. I give you these lessons. Go back and see. I'm not 2 and 3 BC. Remember, it was the morning star. Venus is the morning star, not Lucifer. There's no such thing as Lucifer. That doesn't exist. Lucifer is not a word ever written in the original text, so don't use it. It's not a word. It doesn't exist. There is no Lucifer. Lucifer is real as Chewbacca or Jabba the Hutt. But when those two stars, the morning and the king, are conjuncted, that created the Star of David. That also created this age. We'll go over here for just a second. I don't want to do that, but this age from Aries to Pisces. There we go. There's a better water. This is the age where Christ was born through the Vesca Pisces. He had to be born through water, the amniotic fluid. Not only did Father create an age of a conjunction, he created a vessel of flesh to fulfill the flesh through water. We all came through the canal, the birth canal, through the amniotic fluid. Father's so brilliant. He's so absolutely brilliant. But people miss all these things. It does well, but anyway, so when we saw this conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, we left the age of Pisces. We came into the 6th extinction event. With extinction breeds evolution. It doesn't mean you're going to grow another thumb. That's not what evolution is. Evolution, species die down while others will spring up. This is how species are birthed through these ages, brothers and sisters, with the solar minima and the solar maxima. So this is where we're going to see new species, not evolution like, oh my God, I got a new thumb or I got a kickstand to sit there and lean on. Look at me, honey, I got the gangster lean. What do you think, honey? They see me leaning. I'm on the tilt for real. I ain't bullshitting over here. No. So extinction and evolution go together. It doesn't mean that man evolved from apes. If man evolved from apes, why are there still apes? Stop it. So you see what I'm saying? So that's why it's important to pay attention. That's why I brought this up. Yes, that's because of the sun cycle. It doesn't mean like, oh my God, like now I got, you know, like I said, hey honey, I got another thing to ring around the rosy. Huh? All right, never mind. You guys are silly. I just, people fall for these things. So we're in the 6th extinction event. That happened on 12, 21, and 2020. Not only did we hit the 6th extinction event, the 12,000 year cycle, which remember 6,000 years past, now 6,000 years in the future, we're in the 12,000 year super cycle. 6,000 years ago was past from point Christ born, right, was the age of what? Oh, that was the Noah flood when he flooded this place top to bottom from inside and out because a compression event. A compression. Why do you think it rained from above and below? Because it says water's above and water's below. There's more water below our feet than there is above. Why do you think it? Yeah. There you go. So that might be a better way to put it. I like that, Larry. I like that little bit of analogy or theory. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't think most people would even understand what you're saying there, but I totally get what you're saying. So you got these people. No, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like that. That's good. That's good. That's brilliant. It is. That's brilliant. Because people don't understand the Yuga cycles. So getting back to these Yuga cycles, guys, with these Yuga cycles come compression events and solar minimum and solar maxima of our sun. Remember Solomon said nothing new under the sun. Brothers, sisters, they mapped this stuff out. It has been mapped for, how did Christ, even if you think about what Christ told us, he said, I tighten the Pleiades and I loosen Orion's belt. Do you know how many Yuga cycles you would have to know? How many Kali Yuga cycles you would have to know for that to even be possible? Because those are constant constellations that never move throughout all these cycles, which disproves your heliocentric, that you're in the third rock from the sun, block ball spinning, third dimension rock from the sun on a ball spinning at 1,040 miles an hour through time and space. I hate to break it to you there, numbskull. You're already in space on that heliocentric model. Why do you need to go to space? Oh, we come from stars. God comes from the stars. Shut up. God created all this, was spoken into existence. He created the stars. He didn't come from the stars. You see this nonsense? So pay attention to this compression event, because this is what's happening right now. We're already in it. The sun should prove it to you. Stop listening to these numbskulls. Get a place below the ground. I'm not telling you to dig in so damn far that you're trying to go dig to China. Why do they always say that? If you dig far enough, you'll dig to China. So there you go. More ball earth nonsense. But anyways, okay. Moving on. We're not talking about shapes or sizes in here. Keep your square peg in somebody else's round hole somewhere else, okay? Or stick that round peg in somebody else's square hole in another chat. No, it don't fit here, okay? It doesn't fit. Wrong block. Go to some other block. Outside. Go play outside, child. I grew up in the concrete jungle, so that's how it works in here. So maybe it's your triangle peg. I don't care. Your three-sided, whatever. Maybe you've been screwing around corners there. So you can dig it. Okay, we got it. So if you can dig it, then what I'm saying to you is, if you understand, brothers and sisters, this is how humanity has survived. We wouldn't be here if people didn't get in caves, build underground cities, they're doing it now. They've been doing it since 1980, stealing the U.S. tax dollar, taking and boring out with what is called nuclear fusion, right? Taking and fusing it and creating a glass hole, which would be watertight, pretty much. So this is how this is done. Larry, you're obviously smart enough to understand, which we've already said. I speak caveman. See, people speak caveman in here. Really? So easy a caveman can do it, right? Are you in good hands? So I'm not telling you to dig so far down that you live on, but you might have to get away from the cycle. I don't know if we're going to be here long enough to see that. I really don't. This is a long cycle, whether people realize it. It could happen overnight too. The AMOC, that's something that could send us overnight into an ice age. The sun is getting bombarding the magma under our rock. And one of these times in these cycles, almost every grand solar minimum, it chooches and one goes off. Dalton minimum or, that's what happens every time. The magma underneath our It gets excited from the solar radiation from the sun, and it goes pop like a teenager, who's going through all kinds of, you know, that's what it does. And pow, blots the sun out. It's called a nuclear winter. Are you ready for that? You know what I'm saying? Are you ready for that? Because that's the cycle. That's not anything nefarious. Oh my God, it's an EMP by some other country that explodes some ordnance in our upper atmosphere. This is the sun doing this. Why do you think Donald Trump has military in 25 plus states in this country? Because they're getting ready for this. You'd have to be completely out of your mind right now to be one of these people who are not preparing for what you should obviously see is the governments are deep underground military bunkers, bases, dum, 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 dum. Seed vaults, all these stores, Colorado, NORAD, the under capital, Colorado. Fuck Coronado. Seriously, I cuss. Darn it. But I don't like that. That's the state under capital. That's why do you think they're getting ready to DC? Trump is showing you they're tearing down the White House. Oh, no, he's building a ballroom. Yeah, right. We'll see. We'll see. That's the only place the public could enter into that building, and we'll see now. Remember, there was an underground bunker underneath that. Yeah, just like Adolf's. They're doing the same thing, in case you know. World War II equals World War III. Nothing new under the sun. Yeah, eat the rich. There's not that many of them. They already make us eat our kids. The ballroom bunker, you guys. Ballroom blitz, like Hitler. Whatever, man. So there you go. So you guys got it. Why do you think they picked that? Because they're 14,000 feet of protection from what is about to come from the sun, brothers, sisters. They're not stupid. They could have put the Sierra Nevadas. They have stuff in the Nevadas, but that's where they choose to move the under capital. Why do you think they bring the Queen into the airport at Denver International and flooded that place out? How long ago was that? I didn't forget about that, did I? So hold on, guys. Do you think that the sun could tear down our atmosphere to where the sun could make our solar wind, at 775,000 miles an hour with no energy, that could reach over 1.5 million? That's why we're seeing all this too, guys. Like I said, that they're getting ready for this. What do you think their CERN Hadron Colliders are about? Not about smashing atoms together. I already told you that. It's about creating that magnetosphere. You take a magnet and you put copper around it and spin it. You make electricity that makes a toroidal field. Electricity. Oh, you think that's the first time we've had electricity? Grow up. You tell me we ain't had magnets billions of years ago, copper millions of years ago. Listen here, you old copper top battery. I don't want to hear a Duracell out of you. Oh, never mind. You just keep going and going and going. Your little puffy bunny there. Take your little rabbit, silly rabbit, Roger Rabbit. Tricks over kids. Get on and hop on out of here like a toad. You can't. I'm going to turn into a prince if you kiss me. Get out of here. Guys, I gotta get to make something for my belly here. Let me make some eggs. I'm gonna make some eggs. Oh no, you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna make, just give me a minute. I'm gonna make some volcano turkey. Speaking of volcanoes, I'm gonna make some volcano turkey. I'll show you when I'm all done. I have a plan for it. It's gonna be off the chain. So who wants to share some volcano turkey before this thing blows with me? All right, you get off your knees. I know what I've been licked. Donald blows. Hubba bubba bubbles. Bubba bubbles. That's sick, guys. We live in such a crazy world. Appreciate you guys coming in here, but I got to eat some. Ritual they did when they unveiled the... Yes, absolutely. Exactly, Eli. That's what I'm saying. I already mentioned it in here. They did their rhythm is the night. The night. It won't take me long. I'll get it started, but let's get it started in here. Woo, woo, woo. But I get something in my belly. I made some turkey on the grill. It turned out excellent. I only put butter, chicken stock, and pepper, lots of crushed pepper on it, and it turned out excellent. I mean, even the turkey underneath the skin had picked the flavor through just turning it. And I was flipping the bird all day long yesterday. Remember? On the barbecue, I was flipping the bird. So yeah, that was sickening, guys. So let's make some volcano turkey. Volcano turkey coming up, guys. It's gonna be off the chain. We're gonna use the sweet Thai chili The sweet Thai chili. Damn, my eyes hurt today. I don't know what's going on with my eyes today, guys. Man, they are freaking killing me. I hear the kitty over there. Nugget's been coming over here. That cat eats as much food as Tango. That cat eats all the cat food every time. I have to tell Kevin, man, I gotta bring some more cat food over here, man. He does. Every time I put cat food to come out, it's empty every time. It was never like that before, and I'm overfeeding him now. That's all right. I don't mind feeding his cat. I was going to tell him, he's eating as much as Tango was. I'm putting extra in there, a whole extra cup every day. Because I don't, it's cold. I don't want the cats to be cold. Silly, though. Oh, there's my banner boy. Are you getting some food before Nugget Boy gets to? He'd come over here and eat the food. That's all right. I don't care. Silly kitty boy. He's a neat cat. He's trying to be friends, but I don't think Asher wants to be friends with him. Asher's like, no thanks. We're not going to be friends. We're not going to be friends. Let's get to, where is my skillet? Skillet. Skillet. Was that good turkey for a puppy? You don't eat too much turkey. You eat pretty much lamb, huh? We're gonna make volcano turkey. Volcano turkey. This could be so fire. This could be so good. Let him eat, Nugget. Thanks. Nugget, let me eat. Let me. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tanner. Yep, I knew it. Tanner came over there to eat. Nugget's got to eat all the food because Tanner's over there. Sure enough, Nugget showed up. Maybe he'd just get along with him. He could have eaten all the food. Pants is a good boy. Pants is the one that I love. Pants is my best kid. A piece of turkey for Mr. Pants. Mr. Good Boy. Pants is being a good guy. You're being a good boy today, Mr. Pants. You're always a good boy, Pants. My biggest pants that I love. You hanging out with the dad? Mr. Pantaloni Pony. You're the best boy I ever did best. You're the best boy. Oh, yeah. I'll have to get some of this to the chickens too, huh? Feed some turkey to the chickens. Spoil our birds. Spoil our birds. Let's get this for Mr. Pants here. Get all this for Mr. Pants. Oh yeah, that's a good bite for Mr. Pants. There you go. Oh, that's a good bite. Oh, look at that bite. Oh, there you go. A turkey for my puppy. All right, we almost got her, huh? A little bit more here. Oh, we must. This will be good. This will be good. What are we going to do with the rest of that turkey, buddy? Let's figure something out to make with this one. I'll throw some chives in with it too this time. Here we are. Here we are. Okay, we're gonna give this to the birds. Little nuggets out there trying to start something with Banner Boy. Silly kids. Silly kids. A little bit of salt on that first. Get it going here. And let's put just a little bit of soy on these underneath there first for a little bit. A little bit. There we go. There we go. Another bottle, I think we did, didn't we? Doggone. Doggone. There's a big bottle. Put some chives in there. Yeah, we're gonna put those in there. There we go. Here we go. Good one. Do it up there. There you go. For my boy. You're the best kid ever. You're the best kid ever. Let's turn that on low. Let that kind of blaze up there. Almost done. Oh, I'm gonna put these lights. Put this light back on here. Where's the other light? Where'd the other light go? Let's get that other light. A little bit of that. All right. There we go. Volcano turkey. Volcano turkey. Volcano turkey. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. A little soy on it. Mm-hmm. A little spicy. A little spicy. A little sweet. A little soy sauce on it. A little salt in there. I'm going to make it over rice. But yeah, I ain't going to make rice. That'd be good. Oh. Volcano chicken. No turkey. And I put, chives in there with it. We'll caramelize their bites. Would you look onto her? Little chilies. Uh-oh. That's for the puppy. We'll give that one to the pupper. A little chili for a sauce for the puppy, not much. Are you gonna eat that? He might not eat it. But good stuff. Good call. thought about this recipe yesterday. Look at that. It's all caramelized with the sweet Thai chili. Got the Asian persuasion going on here. Asian persuasion. Thank you, Father, for good food and good company while I'm eating. Want a bite? Anybody want a bite? Want a bite? Better eat. These might be my last days of freedom. It's not looking good for me, guys. I have to be upfront with you. I'm an upfront kind of guy, so the attorney's not going to call me today. Tomorrow's Black Friday, so court's Monday. I'm fucked. Kind of know what I'm walking into already because he's not even told me what we're going to talk about in court. Not going to give me any idea what's going to happen. Don't know what he's going to say. Haven't talked about anything. Pretty amazing that I paid for this attorney. You know, if he wins the case, I guess I'll just have to shut up and eat crow, huh? But anybody else? On bite? You know you like it. Better go have some more red meat. I better go have a burger in town tomorrow or something. With some more red meat, probably. Go to trial. They're going to be extra mad at me because I wouldn't take a deal, guys. They're going to throw the book at me. If they can, they will. If Father lets them, they will. So. Yeah, I never thought it'd go this way. But I'm preparing to go to jail. Don't think it's going to go well Monday. Haven't gotten any. I've got very many calls the attorney to tell me what's even going to happen at my trial. Paid attorney. Tens of thousands of dollars gone. More money gone. Who cares? I don't care. I don't care about money. You can get more or make more or whatever. It's just kind of the principality, the morality of it all. Joy, these could be our last days, guys, here. Together here for a little bit. I wish I could say, hey, you know, I'd be looking about, I'll be back in maybe 6 months, a year or something. He hasn't even told me. If I'm convicted, what kind of time I'm looking at. So I would say as soon as I would know, I'd let you know, but I did my research. I can't quite find the right information. So I don't know what's going to happen. All right, I can't eat anymore. That's really good, though. My hat on. My level a little bit, huh? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, you're such a good boy, Mr. Pants. Such a good boy. So. Watch out. Come over here with Dad. Yeah, I'm going to have to have bong head here in a minute. Oh, man. Oh, man. Come on, son. I need some more ice. Well, I need to put some water outside a little bit. I still don't know. Chili might be able to get something for that. Oh, you're a good boy, Mr. Bobo. Good boy, Mr. Bobo. That was the last cold water we got. We're going to get ice cube today. Oh, well. Alright. Hanging out with a bone. So, looks like I'm going to get railroaded, guys. The attorney didn't call me, so yesterday, and today's Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving, whatever you want to call it. So I don't think anybody's going to be here today. I don't think they're going to have a jury selection today. So is he going to do a jury selection tomorrow? Did he do a jury selection yesterday? He didn't update me on any of the jury selection. You know, he hasn't updated me on what he's going to say in court, what he's going to go over. So I think I'm going to get railroaded. I think that's just what God wants for me. So I cannot go to trial and go on the run like my son, but I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to look over my shoulder and have a warrant out for my arrest. So it's my deal for not taking the deal. So I could have not gone to jail. I could definitely take a deal right now. If I called them tomorrow and said, all right, let's just they said, just give me a misdemeanor, the smallest misdemeanor they can give me, and no supervised probation, which pretty much means I just get a slap on the wrist and it all goes away. But I won't do that. So, and it's not pride. I'm not doing it pride because I have to take it to trial. So I wouldn't be right to sit there and let them do what they did, and not at least, they're not going to even hear the evidence. My son and daughter aren't even going to be there. So that's why I don't think the trial's going to go very well for me. I don't even have my witnesses there. So we're going to have their witnesses. They're going to have the police there, but they're not going to have my witnesses there. So how can you not have my witnesses in trial, man? I'm just lost a little bit. So, what you, Bobby? I love you, big guy. I love you. I know, Dad's feeling it, huh? Feeling a little weird, guys. This just feels awful strange right now to
not have to pay this attorney and it not do anything, and it didn't. It's not even. I mean, it's tomorrow. If you don't call me tomorrow, guys, that's it. I mean, you don't call me tomorrow, that's it. That's tomorrow's Friday. I have a trial on Monday, so I don't know how. What are we going to go all over everything on the last day, on the very last day? Tomorrow's the last day for him to drop it. So I don't drop it and I don't get a call, then I have to be in court on Monday. So for my trial for something that I won't even have my son or daughter there. So this isn't looking very good. I just want to tell you. So I thought I'd come in and hang out before I gotta go through whatever Father's putting me through. It's an absolute nightmare, but what can I do? I'm not gonna change anything. Every time I change something and push it all, it just makes it a million times worse. Where are you going? What are you doing? Where are you going? What are you doing? Did you like that turkey? Was that good turkey for my boy? So, yeah, I just try to be realistic about what's going on. I don't want to candy coat the situation. It's not looking good at all. At all. So, I don't think that judge is going to be nice to me. I don't think that the attorney is. I don't know. I'll just have to have faith in Father, I guess. You know, whatever's going to happen to me is going to happen. But like I said, my faith in the system is not in the system, it's in Father. So I don't have any faith in the system. So the system has violated me and my son and my daughter and my animals. And nothing I can do about it at this point in time. So kind of a strange situation, I tell you. I don't know if this ever happened to anybody before. I mean, I have a paid attorney. It's not like I have. This guy's been practicing law since 1982. He has a really large, extensive record. He's one of the most expensive attorneys in the state. You know, it didn't make a difference at all. So, Vance, go through there if you're going to go through there, please. Thank you. So, I'm preparing to go to jail, guys. That's what it's starting to look like to me. It's not going to matter if I'm innocent or not. There's a lot of people locked in jail that are innocent. So if I don't, it's okay too. I'm just going to have to face with whatever happens. It just doesn't, there's just nothing for me to grab a hold of except for faith. So it's all I got now. Well, like I said, he's not going to call today. And I'm just trying to figure out, when did he call a jury? You know, jury selection is a lot of what I paid for to pay for an attorney. You have them to select your jury for you. So tomorrow they're either going to drop it or I'm going to trial on Monday and have no idea what's going on, what's going to happen to me. My son and daughter won't be there, which is a violation of my Sixth Amendment. I explained that to this attorney. If my son and daughter are not there, that's a violation. I have the right to call witness. Right of discovery. Brought up at trial. So where are my son and daughter? They were on my case. Even if they don't include the SWAT raid, they were in the vehicle that day. So they have to be there. And he told me, well, that the state has the burden of proof. No, they need to be there for me to call witness in my favor. That's my Sixth Amendment right. So, I don't know. It's just not looking good at all, guys. I'm glad I have faith. I don't know if I'll ever see a right of appeal. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know what Father's going to do to me once I get into the system if I end up getting convicted. Because I don't think it is just going to be like a small sentence. I think Judge Vanderburg is going to throw the book at me and make a ruling from the bench. I could be wrong. I don't get everything right, but man, sometimes my intuition is so strong. So I won't be able to tell you that. Kevin probably have to come in and tell you that. Yeah, they put him in jail. So they won't release my charges, and they already released my daughter's charges for the same exact thing they have me charged with. So 15 months ago. So why haven't they released my charges in 15 months instead of had to hire an attorney, had to do all, gone through a lot of hell in the last 15 months. So just look at the timing, Thanksgiving and then Black Friday. I mean, it's like there's just not, it's just not going to happen, man. So I'm going to try to enjoy my last moments out here, I guess, if that's what Father wants for me. So it can go one way or the other. I'm not saying it still can't go some other way, but it's not looking, like I said, everything's pointing towards, I'm just going to get railroaded. It didn't matter. I don't know how John would get in on this. It's God doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's God doing it. So but if I had some other news, I'd give it to you. You know what I'm saying? I'd give it to you. But I don't have any other. I don't have anything. Still, remember, I don't have anything. I just don't have anything. I tried everything I could do in this case. Everything. Even paid an attorney. And didn't work at all. So I'm really starting to think about this ministry here at this property. And since I can't make this ministry happen, and it was more than, it was started as a community, like I said, to eventually became, this ministry, which it still is. I just don't think I want to put any more effort into the ministry here at this property for now. And just, it's paid off. So if it needs to serve, Father will make it serve. But I just look at Christ. And even if I get sent to jail, it's not going to be the end of the world for me, because I'm over the possessions. Nobody wants to share what I have and share my skills or share what I have, this, homesteading and all that. And, in the way that I'm doing it, that's fine. Father, for a whole decade, he's rang true, not giving me the just one more hand out here but it's okay. I'm going to let that go. And, because I was kind of already on the same thing, so there's not much of a change. There is no change. It just maybe reiterating that Christ was a man of no possessions. He said to give up everything you own. And that's why I've sold Kevin land for pennies on the dollar. Literally pennies on the dollar compared to what, the market value for just what I paid for him, basically just, 10 years ago prices he got today or whatever. So I need to come up with a little bit more money. I need to come up with about $5,000 more, and I'm going to put it in towards this mobile ministry to have a vehicle. I don't need to own anything else. A vehicle to me, I already told you, it's just like owning a horse. So, man's got to have some way to move about. So that's what he did. He moved around sharing the gospel. And if you follow this ministry, that's all that Father makes my heart desire. You know what I'm saying? That's what he makes me want to do. So that's why I'm hyper focused. I sold the land to Kevin for what I paid for it. And he knows, and that's fine. And that's fine. It is what it is. I don't feel like Kevin's taking advantage of me. He's going to benefit from it. It's going to eventually, it got this land paid off. So when I sold him the other property, I've been paying on it for 10 years, but it was a remaining amount of money that I needed to pay this off. So that's out from underneath me. So it can serve later. Anytime. It's not going to grow legs and go away. The taxes are paid on it. It's all current. Everything's in good standings. So there's a lot here to be had later if that's the case. But, I need to give up everything. And so I do think, again, if I don't go to jail, then I'm going to just literally just dump this stuff out here. And I mean it. I've already been doing it. I did. I sold my motorcycle for $1,200. I had that motorcycle for $5,000. I had offers to trade it for other cars and just things I couldn't use, but at $5,000, I gave away for $1,200. So there was more accessories on the bike than that. So, but it paid to have my dog, so he didn't suffer, and I had the money. I mean, I thought I had all the money to catch up the taxes, not to catch up, but pay taxes this year and give myself up a little bit, maybe have a little bit towards the end. Father just took it all from me and took my dog away from me. So, but I'm glad I had the money. I had spent all that money to try to, to comfort my dog, so he didn't, in his last moments and he still was whining and whimpering. And my heart's broken. God, I gotta stop thinking about that. It's gonna take me a long time to get over that. It just is. I do. I have a weak heart for my animals, and so I just can't get over his whine. I never heard him whine like that. So I'm glad Father let me sell the bike, even though I gave it away so that I'd have the money to take care of Tango, so he didn't have to sit here and be in pain. I did everything I could. I threw everything I had at him, except for the surgery. So thankful Father did that. So, but it is what it is, and I am where I am. But I'm really starting to again, lean again towards this. It just doesn't. I know the best thing I should do is try to get my food security taken care of, and I have all that here, but I'm not just going to stay here by myself. I'd rather go to the woods and live by myself in the woods. So, you know what I'm saying? I just tried and tried for over a decade to get somebody to come out here and cooperate with me and co-op. And so we kind of left the Ecuador thing behind. I think I'm going to leave this behind now too. I'm just not worried about it. It just is what it is. It's paid off. I can sit here. I don't care what happens to it, to be honest with you. Nobody wants to be a part of it. It doesn't mean anything if nobody's a part of it. That's why I quit building out here. So if somebody wants to come be a part of it, it'll still be here. If something goes away, oh well. It's just stuff. I can get more stuff. So I got some more vehicles and stuff out there. So I think I could probably come up with a difference. It seems like an excessive amount of money to spend, but it doesn't when you're trying to get to where you can drive across the country and not white knuckle it, or if you're going to make it to the next town, next thing you know, without having worry, you need to buy that reliability, and that's what I'm going to do for the ministry. I still consider it part of the ministry, so I don't like I'm doing something for myself. So if I don't go to jail, that's where I'm going to focus. I want to leave here. I don't want to be on this property anymore right now. I love this property. I think it's a great place to be. If I had somebody more to share it with, and I don't know if I think Kevin probably stay here. I don't think Kevin's going to go on the road. So Kevin loves it here. He just wants more property from me. I think this is his place where he's going to stay. So he can do whatever he wants. I already told Kevin I'm not going to get in his way. But it just keeps itching at me again because, like I tell you, I wish everything would stay in there and stop falling down like that. There we go. Christ was a man of very few possessions, and that's what he tells us to do. Serve him. Make your life serving me. And if you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. I'm letting you know right now. And I don't give a crap what you're doing in your life. I'm judging you with righteous judgment like he tells me to do. This is what we all should be harping on each other to do. Our life should reflect a service of Christ, my disciples. Bear, witness, cross, crucifixion, suffer, heat, press, fire, long-suffering, patience, meek. Remember? Kind. Don't not boast. Go share the light. Don't boast because you know, but go share it. You got to spread it. So I don't know what you guys are doing in your life, but as the pastor of this ministry, you need to get off your asses and sell every fucking thing you own and follow the word or unsubscribe from the ministry because you're not being Christ-like. I don't want to sup with anybody anymore. There comes a time in life. What the hell is out in this world right now that's so flipping important to you that you can't give your life to Christ and make your life a reflection of what he did? There is no excuse. He's just not calling out to your heart, and that's fine. He's calling out to mine, and I'm telling you, so you can be a witness, and you don't have to like what you see. I don't care. I'm not here to try to gain your favor. Give up everything you own and follow him. What are you hanging on? What possessions do you own? What possessions do you have that are so important that you need to kill somebody and save your stuff? Get over it. A bird not worries what's it's going to have in the field, to eat, right?
So just got to give it to you straight, man. It's itching at me. I feel like an idiot not listening to my son. Could have got him whacked. I could have done what I should have done a while ago. So I can't let this pass me by. So I have the means to buy a pickup right now, but it's not going to be the one that I think I should buy. I think I should purchase more miles. Basically, I could purchase 10,000 miles for every $1,000 that I spent. So I'd like to spend about another $5,000, and then I could probably bring my mileage down to under 100,000 miles on a near, 10-year-old or something, a little older than that probably vehicle. Not new. I'm not buying a new. I don't have that kind of money. So I just sold a chunk of land that I had paid on for a lot of years, spent a lot of money on that property, developing the UFO, and sold it for half the market value and not even include what I had in the UFO. So it kept not paying for the UFO. I'm just saying I had a lot of, but I recovered enough to be, enough to where I knew that I wouldn't make any money on Kevin. I don't want to make money on him. I love brother Kevin. He's an amazing man. And that's why I gave him the other property for what I paid for it. It's just giving it away for half a market value. So there's even a property right next to for sale, more than mine. It's 5,000 more. I probably should just asked him for it, but he might not have had the ability to do it. I put him a little bit down. I mean, he's heavily invested in some other things right now. He bought more land and he bought a building, and he's been, he's doing other things. So with his funds, it's none of my business what he does with his funds. I just want to make sure that I don't make money on him like that. You know what I'm saying? So a few more things that I should have it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to sell them rock bottom. I will sell them at near, like I said, fire sale prices. So once again, if you have something you're looking for, I have some things for sale. I'll probably sell them to you really stupid cheap right now. I have 3 vehicles for sale right now. So I'm trying to get the Ford, the last little minor little glitch with that taken care of. So it's got almost $1,000 worth of tires on it. So I'm probably going to sell it for like $1,500-$1,800. So it's a $4,500 trucks, but I don't care. I need to inch my way towards the ability to have a vehicle to get in and drive out of here with nothing. I don't care what I drive away with. You know what I'm saying? As long as I can keep some kind of insurance on it so that I can drive and I have a valid license, which I don't like having all that nonsense and tags on it, then I'm good. I'm just going to go do me. I don't worry about, I'm going to leave the cannabis behind and not going to use cannabis while I'm on the road. Maybe if I find somebody who uses it and it's at the end of the day and I'm staying at their house or something, or maybe then I'll partake, but I'm not going to be leaving with anything on me to worry about anything. So I shouldn't be carrying nothing illegal. I won't have any weapons on me, nothing, some of my survival basic stuff, hatchet, some small pocket knives, but I'm not traveling with any guns or nothing. So I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, but I know that I need to share the word is what I need to do. So I don't know where. I need to let all that go and think, oh, I'm going somewhere. I'm going to go wherever Father tells me to go. So we'll see. Maybe he'll take me to where I need to go. But I do need some wheels to do that. So I'll probably have to get the 4Runner finished up. I'm probably just going to give it away for rock bottom prices anyway. So I don't need to do too much of it when I'm just giving it away. I don't need to overspend. I sometimes do that with things, but I like to make sure something's as close as I could be to like factory fresh, clean, painted, touched up, just little things. Sold hundreds of vehicles in my lifetime, I bet, off not working at, auto. I've done sold motorcycles, but, we're getting damn close here to these last couple days, guys. Can only be so many months. Tomorrow, if you don't call me tomorrow, that's it. I'm probably going to go to jail. So I won't need to worry about none of this when I'm in jail, will I? So, but whatever Father has planned for me, I'm just going to accept it. Like I said, just accept it. Life ain't Burger King, and whatever he wants for me, I'm just going to take it and with a grain of salt. Yeah, being that this is things stealing or killing or giving or whatever the hell holiday you want to call it. There's no call today. You ain't gonna call a jury in on a call for a jury on a holiday. So when is the next time? When's the next time he'd have chance? Not by chance. Tomorrow on Black Friday. Is that a holiday too? Is Black Friday a holiday? They might have made a holiday, so I don't even see anybody. How's he going to call a jury on Black Friday? You guys, I'm running into a freaking. I'm telling you, you should see this. If you follow this channel, you should see where this is about to go, man. It's like there's nothing I can do about it. There's these times in life where he's either just going to pull this complete, unfathomable thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just not looking good, man. It's not looking good. Today is the day that they're not going to call. We have to remember the world celebrates, so no calling for no jury today. If he did a jury selection yesterday or the day before, how come he hasn't briefed me on what the hell we're going to say? Hey, talk with the jury. There's a lot of good. We have some veterans in there, and and you're a veteran. I'm going to mention that. I'm going to mention he's not going to even say what he's saying about me. Like the bio, hey, this is, he's a veteran, he served in the military, He doesn't, there's just nothing, guys. This is like staring into nothing, man. This is Father menacing me. And I'd apologize that you have to be a witness to this, but this is just absolutely terrorizing. Once again, this is something that my brain is just, I don't know. I'll know in a couple of days, right? A few days. So I want to try to enjoy my last moments. If this is my last time out of, and having not being locked up, then I need to try to enjoy my time as much as I can. And that's why I'm here. I could be doing anything else, but this is what I feel like I should be doing. So. I don't know. Tomorrow is Black Friday, so I don't know how that relates to this. If that's like a holiday or something, because I don't see like him doing that tomorrow either. So I just really need to face the fact that I'm going there without my son or daughter be there. They're not going to look at the SWAT raid. They're not going to look at anything. They're going to play that video of me telling my son to stop. They're going to get a guilty verdict, and I'm going to jail. Unless Father has some other kind of, like I said, out of nowhere idea. It's not looking good at all. Remember me when you pay an attorney to go over with you. Okay, here's what we're going to discuss at trial, and here's what I'm going to go over, and here's what's going to happen, and here's how long you'd face if they convicted you. You'd have the right to appeal. Something, but still, once again, just like everything, nothing. Father gives me nothing. He gives me nothing. Once again, nothing. Nothing with my son, nothing with my daughter, nothing with this case. Wow. This is happening. So. Yeah, I don't know. They're folks more smart. And I think if again, not in a panic, I really should, over time. Oh, some pretty there. No, pretty one there. Some pretty one there. Pretty one there. Let's not cheat on that one yet. Let's some of the smaller ones here. So this country is so dangerous, man, to be in. I don't know why I would stay here. I don't want to panic because I don't even know where I'm going, but I think it'd be stupid to stay here, but I don't even know where to go. Everything's so nutty right now in this world. Can only drive so many places in the vehicle, so. Maybe I should take my money and go to another country, guys. And not worry about buying wheels right now. We go get on an airplane, go to another continent. Anybody got any ideas? Where do you go, man? The whole world's on fire right now. It is. The whole world's on fire. But nobody sees it, I guess. Not in America, at least from where I'm at. This northern hemisphere. All right, well, it's going to get more difficult from here. I'm pretty sure that's where it's headed. So. I'm really just one day away. You know what I'm saying? One day, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I got one more day, guys. You don't call me tomorrow, nothing. That's it. That's it. That's it. They're not going to do a deal at trial. They're not going to call a trial a jury and then everybody show up and then make a deal. So tomorrow's really my last day, you know. It is. It's my last day. If they don't drop this case tomorrow, and like I said, I don't know when this attorney had time to pick a jury. He's not. They just called this on Monday, you know, to go to trial. So he said, okay, call for a jury. When do you call for a jury? You know, he has to go through jury selection, and I don't think he's even had time to do jury selection. So I'm just kind of confused, you know. So I have one more day, or I really think I'm going to jail. I think they're going to railroad me. I don't know how John is on this, and how I know he knows Elijah did all this probation. So, no, I already tried all that. You know what I'm saying? They won't file anything. They won't allow me to do anything. So I have a paid attorney. I paid tens of thousands of dollars now for this attorney, one of the most expensive attorneys in the state. So the one that is involved in the case, the one that 5 years ago that I got for Elijah, so to get him out from him being railroaded. So, and they offered me a deal, you know, we'll drop all the charges down to a misdemeanor, just one single misdemeanor, and no supervised probation. So I basically could have got off with a slap in the wrist. But well, I just had some buckets before I go to jail. If I go to jail, I don't know what's happening, but I don't know what's happening. Father's control of my life, so it's called a Miranda right violation. It's called inadequate counsel. It's a Fifth Amendment violation. So, and I have obviously made that very well known in court, open court, multiple times. Instead, I got told that I was micromanaging my my attorneys, and that I was going to have to represent myself. And Pat Wolke violated my right of adequate counsel. It told me that I had to represent myself here at trial in the next day or two. That I had to represent. That's a violation of my Miranda rights, adequate counsel. That's your Miranda rights. They cost your body, take and arrest you, charge you, title, you know, any under the original statutes of the Title 18. So, yeah, well, I'm not taking a conviction. I'm not going to take it. If they're going to convict me, they're not going to convict me willingly. See what I'm saying? I will not willingly. Even up to this day, I have 2 days away from potentially going to jail, and I wouldn't go to jail. I could leave the country today. I could. I have a passport. I could leave. Yesterday I could have been gone. And I'm going to go ahead and take it to the box and risk going to jail. So, and they're going to probably throw the book at me. So I won't call tomorrow going, oh, John, please, I'm scared. They're going to throw the book at me. I'm just going to have the book thrown at me. So life ain't Burger King, right? Can't always have it your way. So when you agree to take a plea, you say, please, I'm allowing you and I agree to extort my merchant number, my bar gain. Please bar, please take a plea bar gain. Please let the gain for the bar, Yeah, and I don't want to do that, Bob. That's what I'm saying. I want to go and come back. I mean, I don't know now because like I'm really kind of fed up with this country, So I'm not going to. If they take money from me and Father judges me and Shiloh judges me, he's going to say, "Did you willingly do that?" No. So you made them take you all the way to trial and they threw you in jail anyways, and then they extorted your merchant number. No, okay, well I'll cover you for that because you didn't willingly do it. You stood against that perverted law as I stood. I sent my son to stand against the perverted law. So Shiloh will cover you for your sins for standing up to this perverted law. Like that's what I'm doing. I'm just standing up because they're trying to throw my son in jail. This isn't even my case. It's my son's case that I'm trying to help him, and then now they're throwing me in jail. So it's not even, I just told my son, don't stop the car. So did my daughter, and they already let her go in September, 15 months ago. But they're still coming after me for the same thing that they dropped her charges for. I told this attorney says, okay, well, I got that. We'll posture before trial. Okay, now we're going to trial in 2 days. Basically tomorrow, he don't call me, we're going to trial. So that he didn't say that. Yeah, that didn't work out like I thought. That's why I don't think he's going to do what he said. So I'm not going to willingly take an agreement to let them merchandise me. And if they merchandise me and I have to eat cock meat sandwiches and get cock rocked by Big Bob and his buddy and get ass fucked and raped, I'm not going to do it willingly. So, man, that couldn't happen to you and you could have got out of that. Well, yeah, but whatever, you don't stand up to perverted law. I do. You just take it deep in a different way. You'll get yours double. I'm taking mine now. I'll do the crime, do the time or whatever. I didn't commit a crime, but I'm saying, that's how it works with me. So I answer to later. Like Father's going to cover me if I stood up to this. I know he knows what I did. Christ knows what I did. That's who I answer to. I don't answer no man in no black robe. So they can do whatever they want to me. Father made them do it to me. He's just testing me. So it's just a test of your faith. So, I won't cave. I only have one day. Tomorrow I'm not going to call John all scared that I'm going to go to jail. I'm just going to take it to the box and whatever happens to me. And if they railroad me, they railroad me. So it is what it is. Life is not Burger King. You can't always have it your way. So I'm just going to take it as it comes. And if Father wanted to be any different in the whole case, you should have seen for the last, pretty years all that I've been pretty on this. So I will be done. So I'm not going to willingly let them turn me into some merchant number. And if they do, they're going to do it unwillingly. And then when I pass and I get raised after my death, and he said, well, they took money from you and they went and killed other people with that money they made off you, but you stood against that perversion. So I'm covering you for the death that your dollars paid for to kill people in other countries that they made off you in jail. Because you didn't willingly go in there. Everybody else was in there, took a plea bargain, agreement to do, and then they still would deal. Well, my charges aren't that damn serious, but I guarantee they want to throw the book at me. So, I mean, I think it's like a year per charge for felony or something or for misdemeanor, but I couldn't find the felony charges for hindering prosecution, interfering with a peace officer, harassing the police and menacing the police are the charges that I'm facing. My charges are against the law enforcement, supposedly people who are enforcing perverted law. So I will speak up. And if they throw me in jail because of it, oh, well, I used to be one of these pigs myself. So I'm going to be held to a different measure than most people. If I know the law, as well as being a veteran and a constitutionalist, not a sovereign citizen, then I'm going to be held to that measure. So I don't, I don't expect anything from anybody, but I know if somebody knows this Constitution and you don't stand up to it for being perverted, it says repugnant, then you're just a slave to the system. And so if I end up getting put in a jail cell, well, they put Christ in jail, Paul in jail. They said, Christ went to jail because he stood up to the law. And that's how you're going to be Christ-like, to stand up to the law. He stood up to the government, law, and religion. So if you don't stand up any of those, enjoy your gnashing of teeth. You're going to hell, just so you know. You're not a disciple of Christ. My disciples bear witness, take up your cross, suffer, be crucified, go through long suffering for my Shem, in doing what I did, follow after me, conform to my image. Matthew, Romans, Paul, you don't ever read the scripture, do you? That's the problem with this society today. So they don't know who the Hamashiach or Christ is. So I do. And so I share who he is, like he said, Paul's writings, Romans 8 and 29. I also did for know who I did predestined to conform to my image. Are you doing what he did? Does anybody want to hang you from a tree? Does anybody want to put holes in you? They want to put holes in me. They shot my son with his hands in the air, grenaded my daughter when my daughter and son were sleeping, then grenaded me to the face, 45 seconds later. So they came to shoot to kill, and that's what they came to do. But they wouldn't get any resistance from me. Not through any weapons, not at all. I only asked why they were here and what they were doing. And they still grenaded me. I only asked if my son was okay before anything. I just asked, Elijah, are you okay? There was nothing being said. It was silence. You can see it. I recorded it. Father recorded it because he is the one who created it. So, but thy will be done, thy kingdom come. So all I can do is just keep my faith. And if they throw me in jail, then that's what Father wants for me. And I'll go in there and that's what I'll tell everybody. I'm here because Father sent me to jail. What do you mean? Well, I sent myself here because I stood up for my son because they were trying to throw him in jail. And I wasn't going to let him throw him in jail. And then I wouldn't let him stop the vehicle. I didn't physically stop him, but I told him not to. And then they came and SWAT raided my, the house and the cabin I was living in and shot out all the windows and grenaded me and grenaded my animals and shot my son and grenaded my daughter. But I still kept standing up. I wouldn't take a plea agreement. So they threw the book at me and here I am. So see, I'm already ready to go there. It's not where I want to go. I want to get out of here. So anybody got any other ideas than America, even South? Maybe that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to South because I don't know where else to go at this point. Everything's on fire right now. So I just don't feel like staying in America. Just something about it here. I mean, whatever. I might. I'm just going to play it by ear, remember? I just want to get out of where I'm at right now. I don't want to stay anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Although it's wise to have a place like I do, have a homestead, live off the grid, have everything I have. I have everything and live in the American dream, but mobility is going to be important, getting away from chaos. You can be 20 yards away from life or death. And I am not trying to sit there and say I'm trying to escape my death. I don't even want to be here right now. Father just took my dog from me, my son from me, my daughter from me, and I don't have friends or family. So that's it. I'm out here on his will, not my own. So trying to make sure that I receive my inheritance after I die, putting out my treasure, not on this rock, but in a higher place. It's not in the sky, but, my crown, I come quickly. So here we are. Like I said, tomorrow, if you don't call tomorrow, this attorney don't call. I mean, I don't know what the hell, I don't know how this would even, how are they going to have a trial without my son and daughter there? Remember, I just told you, I told my son not to stop the car. He got arrested. My daughter got arrested. Why? They didn't have a warrant for my daughter. They have to be at my trial. They're not going to be there. What? Love it. So this may be my final beating. For, what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm really starting to look. I don't know how it could be any more sickening and cruel and disgusting that Father could make this. My son and daughter are not even at my trial. And I told my attorney that, and that's because I believe they've been murdered. Do you think that's going to get brought up at trial? Do you think he's going to say that? Or do you think I'm the one that's going to have to say it? So remember when I brought it up last time, I got threatened to be thrown in jail. I've been thrown in jail for trying to get him to look for my son and daughter. So I don't have any confidence in the system will do anything properly. So these are going to probably be my last couple live streams here next couple days. I don't know if I'm going to last stream my last day. I might just take the day off and spend it with Father on Sunday. We'll see. I might come up for a minute, but I don't know. I'm starting a little bit wore out here on this whole thing. It's just turned into an absolute nightmare. I mean, there's nothing about it that is not completely backwards. So it's just a couple more days, today and tomorrow. And then obviously I'll figure out I'm to make it, and I'll just know the weekend. I'll just know I got to show up there at court at 9 o'clock, shit showered and shaved, ready to go. To trial. Could be my last days of being on the outside. So thanks for hanging out with me in my last days. If these are my last ones out here on the outside, don't really have friends or family or anything to hang out with, stuff like that. So. What a grueling year and a half. It's been 458 days, 448 days, excuse me, since they SWAT raided this property. It's been a long road. Glad that I can still be here, though, and talk about what I love so much, and that's the word. But I still have the sense that tells me to get the flock out of dogs. Just don't sit there like a bump on a log. So, or I'll be locked up and I can't go anywhere. That'll be kind of the opposite of what I am. I don't do well when I get caged up. So I get a little flighty. Well, no, not like that. Like I move around a lot. It's hard for me to sit still when I'm, it's just the way I am. I get a little cagey, not flighty. So I just start moving around a lot and exercise a lot. And now I have such a hard time reading now. It's almost near impossible to have a good, I mean, I could figure it out, but man, reading really hurts my head, my eyes, and my eyes to focus, because the right one is all messed up, and it really hurts my brain. Yesterday, guys, oh my gosh, I made a huge mistake on those nickels. I went through some of those nickels, Sabrina. They weigh, you were right, they don't weigh any different. They weigh the same. So there's no way to weigh them. You've got to look through them all. Physically look through every single one of them, you know what I'm saying, to find those war nickels. And I made it through. I just, my head hurt so bad afterwards. I was using a magnifying glass. I got about a jar done, so I did one, and I didn't find one single nickel. So I don't think I was lazy. I made sure I went through. I'm a pretty thorough person, attention to detail kind of guy, but no war nickels so far. And so I have one more jar. You know what I'm saying? That's the saying. And I have this. This is what I was using. But it's still kind of, after a while you look at through this, it hurts your eye. It's like, so but no nickels. I almost got a full jar of nickels, about 3/4 the way, and none so far. So I have one more jar to pretty much look through. So I'm thinking that there's not going to be any. There's going to be none, but maybe there'll be one or two. Maybe there'll be 3. You never know. It could be, it's a possibility. But if you think about it, though, how many nickels have been made for how many years? You're only talking about 42, right? 43, 44, and 45. So 42 to 45 are the years. So that's a small amount of, and for all the nickels that are out there, there's, that's just a small window. So that's almost like finding a needle in a haystack, if you think about it. For now, I'm starting to see why. And whatever, I mean, it's still an ounce, but 20 nickels is $58, man. 28 nickels is $58. I remember we used to get nickel for nearly nothing. Like I said, they didn't really have a value on those war nickels. They didn't, because it wasn't when there's only 35%. You're talking about, maybe gaining 25% gain of nickel after you put it through the hot press and it burns off, and you're going to lose a certain amount in the refining process, maybe 30%. You know what I'm saying? You'll lose probably 5% of that nickel. That means 70% of that is waste. It's just not efficient to take it out when there's that much waste. But now it's not waste because there's nickel. You know what I'm saying? the nickel's value. I already told you that now, you know what I'm saying, that itself. And then the silver now is starting to become, obviously silver's $60 an ounce right now. It's not 50, it's 60, you know, an ounce. It's to buy it, it's not 50, it's $60. So um, people stop saying silver's $50. Shut up, that's for a piece of paper. You want to hold it in your hand, you're going to pay a premium, and that premium is about $8 to $10 right now to, you know. I went to the silver shop and I paid, it's the only thing I haven't bought any, never bought silver at that price. $53 I paid for that. I'd never thought in my life I'd pay more. I told Kevin I'd never pay more than 25, and I bought one at like, you know, some at 35. I had to sell it, but whatever. I sold it for just a couple bucks less. So it wasn't like, I mean, my money was, it was there. I might have lost a little bit, but it is what it is. At least it didn't get inflated away. But this is like $70 online right now for that piece of that Scottsdale mint, you know, $63, $64. That buffalo's $61 right now for a buffalo. If you buy 20 or less, $61 if you want to be a buffalo farmer. So can't tell me a silver's not $60. It's $50 for a piece of paper. You don't hold it, you don't know it. My balls hurt. Oh my gosh, my eyes hurt today. So. But that silver won't be doing me nothing sitting in the jail cell, will it? So, oh well, whatever, man. If I hired an attorney representing myself, they just throw me in jail for sure. I know they would. They would throw me in jail so fast if I tried to represent, and I could, and I have before, but I didn't get the results I want when I represented myself in court too. And even the judge told me, man, you put on a better case than your last two attorneys. Than my last, when I was going with custody for my son. But he still wouldn't rule in my favor. So, but that's why I paid an attorney, you know, but I don't know. It didn't do anything, remember? What has the attorney done for me? Nothing. Actually, he's brought me backwards now, if you think about it, because now I'm just one day away from court. He hasn't even talked to me about what's happening. I mean, he said he thinks he can beat the case, but I told him we don't need to go to trial. Why are you wasting my money? Why are you wasting time? I could be looking for my son yesterday. So I'm not really happy with the results now with John. If he takes this to trial, I'm not really happy. He didn't even try to position to tell them, hey, you dropped his fucking daughter's charges and you can't have them there, and that's no conspiracy charge, and have you looked at the SWAT raid, and he's going to sue you, and none of it doesn't seem to be having any effect. Zero. It doesn't seem like, even when I talked to John, I've already told you and voiced it in here, he doesn't want to talk about Elijah, which blows me the fuck away. He asked me how I was doing. I said I lost my dog. He talked about my dog, went off and went some emotional, but won't talk about my son. So I don't know, man. I'm completely confused. My heart is, like I said, it's broken, and every day I pick it up and try to put it back together and carry on with this life. I guess that's what you want to call this. It's not an easy one, I'll tell you that. And I'm not wanting any sympathy from a single person. I'm not asking for sympathy. So it's weird. When I looked at the calendar, guys, I was like, oh my God, you're so fucked, Tracy. You know, I don't look at the calendar like that. It's just not my thing. I don't, you know, and I looked at the calendar, whatever. I don't know what made me look at it. And I was like, Thanksgiving and Black Friday? Oh, shit. He had to call me yesterday. If he calls Friday, the day before court, basically, that's what that is, because the weekend doesn't count. He's going to call me the day before court. And if he does, whatever. It better be, hey, they dropped it. You know, because I don't know what the fuck he's going to say to me the day before court to get me ready for trial. That's crazy. I don't, like I said, I don't know. I don't know. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. At least I'm getting to document it and have the ability to do so. God, it'd just been a whole lot better if they would have just shot me that day. Maybe they would have left my son alone. Fuck. One day at a time, almost done there, pretty much, I guess. Tick tock, tick tock. kind of a sad thing though, because nobody I go into jail, nobody's going to be looking for them anymore. They just kind of get erased, and I have a lot to do with that. And so I'm not very happy with myself. If I'd have left it alone, maybe, huh? Just let him put him in jail, right? Put him in prison for 5, 7 years, whatever. Even though he did all his probation 2 times, just let him go ahead and convict him wrongfully. I can't do that, man. That's just not me. Some things I'm just not built to do. So some people may, but I'm not that. I'm not the silent majority in history. Notice majority. Old-gas. Very few find that straight gate and go through the narrow way. So what do? You're gonna have to live with whatever I've done. Remember, if he's gone and I'm here for another 50 plus years, then I'm gonna have to live with that every day until I die. So either way, even if I go to jail, it's going to be actually essentially a little harder. I thought it might be a little easier, but I think it's going to be a little harder because then I won't be able to look for them. And I know nobody out here on the outside is going to be looking for them. So their bodies, if they're dead, will just lay there until I get out of jail. If I don't get in trouble or something doesn't happen to me in jail until I get out, and I'll continue. I don't know if I'll be able to have contact with you guys again because I don't know. But maybe someday you'll hear about it. But I'll go right back to where I was. I will. I won't stop. If they convict me, I'll file appeal. I'll keep going, and I'll try to bring up my appellate case. Obviously, all this will get brought up, but I don't know. I won't stop. Because I'm not doing this more than I love the word. I'm doing this because this is what the word tells me to do. Stand up against perversion of the law. So, people who oppress people, people who try to hold people, they enslaved my son, made him a slave to probation, an indentured servant to probation. It's insane what happened, what is done to my son in this case. And then I go to jail and nobody's out there looking for him. So it'll haunt me every day I'm in jail. So, including all the details you'd know that I told you that I should have listened to him and just taken the gold and silver and went and bought the double cab Tacoma and went on the road. So I have enough to buy the double cab Tacoma again. I sold the land. So I'd like to buy something with less miles on it. If that day comes and I can't, I'll buy the very best pickup I can for the money that I have. And it'll be a double cab. So thank you, Father. If the money doesn't get taken from me between now and then, who knows? I mean, we're only days away, but you never know. Father's pretty brutal when it comes to my situation. So if not, I'll throw the money on my books and I'll have money on my books, right? To buy water. I want to be down there in Lane County and drink that pond scum they got coming through their pipes down there. And I can't make it on just coffee. And I ran no money in my books. I only had $3 the first time, and that only lasted in 2 weeks. Got 9 coffees, so I gotta have to have some money while I'm in there to try to. I told you I'm very active. I exercise a lot, and it's just how I wear myself out so I can sleep. Otherwise, I don't sleep in jail at all. Very much. It's really hard because it is what it is. But most people are sleeping. There's been, how many days I've been in jail? I can count where I'm the only one up for, most of the day. People sleep a lot in jail. They sleep it off. It's freaking disgusting. So they sleep 14 hours. I sleep 3 or 4. And I don't sleep like that on the inside. I don't sleep for 4 or 5 days at a time. Just the way I am. I can't help it. So, but I need the food to keep my stamina up so that I can, I don't get weak in there and get all scurvy and get all depleted. And if I just sit there, I'd probably be I'd be okay and be a little more sedentary. But I burn a ton of calories. Just the way I am. So, but it's okay. Father's going to do to me whatever he's going to do, but at least I'll have that funds available this time. I won't have to be put in a cage and not have any way to give myself any supplemental nutrition because I need it. Especially if I'm in there and the man that I am, people don't like me. So there's always somebody who's kind of eyeballing me and wants to take me somewhere out of the camera range and get rid of me. So people don't like the word. Some people are very allergic to it. And when you put me in a bunch of, in a cage with a bunch of people and I start talking about it, people get very irritated. So uh, you just rub some people the wrong way. I told you I could just walk into a building, not even open up my mouth, and people get pissed off. But I've had to have my son around it. And it scared the hell out of him multiple times and stuff. That's the father way. That's the way Father made me. So I got to get ready for this. And if not, like I said, I need to be Christ-like and do what he did. And he said, give up everything you own. That's what I'm doing. What he tells me to do. So I'm encouraging you all to do the same thing. And if you can't, that's okay. I understand. Some of us have kids, and some of us has, other responsibilities. But my kid is grown, and I've tried to help him. And if I can't, and I'm going to try to locate him for a little bit after I get out of this situation, if Father allows that, and then I'm gone. I'm gone, man. I can't. I got to remember that. Keep that. That's my new model. Give up everything you own. And I mean, it's not, because I was already doing that. Remember, I already told you that I don't want any of this. I don't want possessions. I want experience, not physical possessions. I want the experience, not the physical. I'm over the physical. Bores the living fuck out of me. Just so you know, if you come in here, what's wrong with this guy? Physical bores me to death. I don't care how much money you have, how rich you are, how big your tits are, how good your smell. I don't care. You don't do anything for me. I care about the word, I care about experience, having experience, and it's not almost so much visual, but a natural and organic experience. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Well, I don't need it. Father did it. So Father made me do what I did. So I can't worry about, it is what it is. It's not just my son, but my son and my daughter. So, um, but it's okay. Father will do whatever he wants with me. There is some. I don't know where it would point that Elijah's alive, but I'll get to the bottom of that answer if I get out of jail. I already have I'm a prior investigator, so I know where I already found him last time when the cops wouldn't look for him, and I went and did my own investigation. I found him, and I went back because they wouldn't look for him again to double check, and he was gone, and so was my daughter. So I don't think that either of them are around anymore. So um, I already explained my why and how and my motive. So on why I do believe that they were here, they would be filing motions and filing lawsuits and filing. It explains why this court case is going the way it is. It's just a big cover up. So, and they can get rid of me, the whole case goes away. So put me in behind bars. That's it. So I might not even be able to use commissary in there. I might just be one call away. Werner over here. Then I'm gone. I'm out of here. You'll never hear from me or see from me again. So that could happen. They do these type of things when you're in confinement. They can disappear anybody. You're just one, sticking your hands out there and putting on them shiny bracelets away from them taking you out of that cell. And I just don't have a life like that. Nobody knows where I'm at. Nobody cares where I'm at. When I go from here, nobody's going to care that I'm gone. You guys all disappear. Like I said, your obituary will be filled out before you know, your job will be filled out before your obituary's being done filled out. I mean, it's it's the life that we live. So, we're all just a flash in the pan. But at least I'll know when I was here that, I stood up and tried to help my son. And if it got him killed because I didn't listen to my ignorance to begin with, not ignorance, I knew better, but I didn't listen to him because I was still trying to get this ministry paid off, purchase that vehicle that I needed, the double cab that he told me to buy, and have just a little bit of money to go on the road with, some kind of travel funds. But, you know, whatever, I have to live with that. I have to live with everything I've done, and there's nothing I can do to be able to change the past. All I can do is try to keep my eye on the prize and know that if Father wanted it to be different, he would do it differently. He does all these things after his own counsel, and he does them for his own pleasure. So it seems like he likes to beat me a lot, and he doesn't just beat me. I know there's others that are going through a lot of suffering right now. So I'm not the only one in many places. My life is a duality, which I don't like. That I get to live the American dream. I just don't get to share it with anybody. What I'm doing is right, and I know it, but it comes with suffering. Everything is that. Everything about me is duality. I'm the scorpizzo. I am the false teacher by my celestial, marker. But I don't. I'm not a teacher. That's word prophet. I'm just a man who loves Christ, loves the Hamashiach, loves the Word, loves the Hokadesh, and so. But Father makes me do it, not me, because I don't have the strength to do it anymore. I've been beaten down enough in life, and this one here is really starting to, you know, take its toll. I'm not 20, I joined the military as a teenager, a child, minor child, actually, still. I wasn't a child, I was a grown ass man, but I knew what I'm saying. I was 17, though. I was still a minor. Well, I was technically considered a minor child at that point. So, but some of these things are engraved in the way Father raised me from my birth and who I am, my name, where He raised me, and so I can't change who I am and what I did, and wouldn't turn from anything. I mean, my mistakes are what define me, and I try to learn from my mistakes and turn from my ways. And Father helps to do that through the Word to rebuke me. It's the Word that rebukes me. No man rebukes me. No name. No, it's Father through His Word. The words that are in this testament, this covenant that He made with His bride on this new covenant, new living will and testament. So it is this last will that He made with His do not add or take away from my book, or I'll blot your name out of that book of life. So maybe that's why He made me such a stickler, so militant and attention to detail. And if I suffer and stand up, it's because it's for a bigger cause. I did that at 17 years old. I said, all right, I'm willing to give my life if that's what it takes to see other people, you know, gain from my suffering. So that's kind of how that works. He stood up for the sins of His bride. Not everybody. The world doesn't mean like everybody. It means like black, white, brown, red, yellow, Jew, Gentile, man, and woman. There's a little bit of just a little oldie goss. He doesn't love everybody. Father doesn't love people that are going to hell. He doesn't. He tells us we can hate, not be hateful. We're not supposed to hate, right? The sinner. We're supposed to hate the sin, But no, be nice. The word nice means to be stupid. Stop being stupid, you know. But that's not. See, this is the duality of the life that I live. So I'll experience that no matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter where I go. This will never leave me. It'll always be there. Like Christ is inside of me. He's not in some temple or house made by hands. Father is not somewhere in the sky. He's never been in the sky. Father is the word Hokadesh, and He's inside of me. He comes out of my mouth. He's the words that I'm repeating that are in His words, not mine, not my own perversion or version or translation that is froer to twist or warp or change or add or take away. The words that He wrote, the words that He spoke, the words that He has not written yet or spoken by Him ever will be, are His words. He spoke all of this into existence. You got to understand frequency and energy and vibration. So, light and just basics. I'm not trying to get all complicated with you, but this is all spoken into existence. Just remember that. And the Word became flesh through, remember? Remember who the Hamashiach is. He's a man that could walk through walls. So why do you go after that man? Well, a man that could walk through walls, So it's not just that, but obviously people revel after He said, call no man reverend, call no man father, call no man teacher. But people do all these things, and it's okay because Father doesn't love everybody. Remember, He only loves His bride. And He wrote on the heart of the bride, um, His will, His testament, not their will, but His agape. Remember, I'm not asking you, Peter, if you phileo me. So I know sometimes on this channel there's a lot of phileo, but hopefully you'll see that what I'm doing is standing up like Christ did. I'm trying to be Christ-like, to mirror and conform, hover over in the same narrow way, right? Conforming like two spoons in a drawer. Any of those people who've ever had a you know, understanding that's the same, not like a knife and a fork, that those don't conform to each other's image. So he said in Romans, conform, those who will conform. I chose. So got to go through the suffering. We got to be like silver and gold. That's kind of the hard thing too about even talking about it. You know, I potentially get my son and daughter killed over gold and silver. um, I'll take care of it. No, but I hear you. It's not, that's wrong. I appreciate it. There's no wrong. I appreciate anybody's input in this case because I don't really get much. I've just been bumping my head against the same, you know. But I have legal counsel, and they know. They're very aware of it. They're covering up. I know there's no reason I would have called Josephine County and they would have not went and looked. There was a passport. That's a federal offense to hold my passport. I said my daughter was being raped potentially by Marshall Radonich. There wasn't a warrant for her arrest. They should have gone at least look for her, irregardless of my son. There was a warrant for my son's arrest, and I told them the location where he's at, and they didn't go get him. That's not there. He wasn't there. That's why they didn't go get him. I do think he was already gone. So I don't like saying that, but still makes no sense. Yesterday is a year and a half. My son has had no contact with me through any third person, like through the grapevine. I called my son quite a few different names growing up as a kid. People even ask me, "Do you ever call him by his name?" You know, we do that with our children. You know, they just pick up kids' names, pets' names. We do it with our honey bunny. Hey, honey bunny, you do it with your spouse. Okay, I don't want to hear it. My little honey bunny, you're so sweet. I could just eat you. You know, come on. You see what I'm saying? And there's no way he could have, you know, fuck off, Dad, you prick. You got me more trouble. You got me shot. You got me, they grenaded me. Did you see that in the video? No, you didn't. I watched the video. There's no grenade. You didn't see that until I found that grenade. You know, no contact. My daughter, no contact. They both went missing in the same month. September is when her charges were dropped. That's when the state police told me he went missing. But I actually have him and proof that in October that he was on the phone. Was he being held at gunpoint? I talked about his demeanor, his statute, his vernacular, his voice, on how he sounded, and made quite the stink about it when I came back from that court date. So the state police's stories don't match. Josephine County doesn't have. They should have taken I've told this to my attorney, and he told me report it to the state police. I called the state police. They say we don't have jurisdiction. These are the same people who shot him. There's obviously a cover up going on here. So I think they're days away from getting their final kingpin, and that would be this guy right here. So there's some other people who said they think the feds are involved because the feds have never called ever once. And they think the feds have called my attorney and said, let him get into jail. We're just going to take him into custody. So I think that's what's going to happen. I don't want it to, but I think that's what's going to happen. There's what other avenues do I have here to go off of? They won't listen to me. They won't take a report of my son's dead body. I reported to my paid attorney, and he won't even do anything. He ain't taken any of the money that I've given him. Oh, that must be Kevin. That don't sound like a dog. He must be around here somewhere. Oh, yeah. Anyways, so it just kind of hit me hard, the reality, how this is going to work. So I'm ready for whatever, man. Whatever happens, happens. Here, I'm going to go let my puppy out. You want to go out there? Want to go see the kids? Go visit? Go on, go visit. I bet you he'll go out that gate. Well, he's staying there. He's a pretty disciplined dog. He might not. Is he going to go out the gate? Good boy. He's staying in the gate. He's not even going down there. What a good boy he is. What a good puppy I have. But what a crazy case. I hope you guys will go back one day and look at this. If you don't see me here again, and you know, we'll see what happens. It looks like Kevin's going to come over here for a minute. I'm going to bounce off here and talk to him for a little bit. So appreciate you guys' time. You want to support the ministry, give you some road money or something. There's links in the description. Just come back when you have some more time. All right. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.